Hi, okay. Greetings, everyone. Great day and welcome to today's live. Today is Tuesday, the alleged 16th day of the month of December, year of our Lord 2025. And we are gathered here today, as we have been, guys, for 7 years. So I appreciate each and every one of you being here, whether you've been here from the beginning or you have joined us sometime along the journey. Today being Tuesday, we typically go over what is called newbie questions, but what I have realized, and it's not that recently I realized, welcome in my TikTok people, my TikTok friends-in-law, welcome in. Y'all already know it's Tuesday. So we are gathered for our Newbie Tuesday session. And like I started to say, I realized a while ago that it's not just newbies that believe and unfortunately repeat uh preventable mistakes in their conception of what's happening and therefore what is the path to remedy. What I mean by that is that there are people who might not consider themselves new. They will say, I've been studying for X amount of years. However, I had a conversation yesterday that revealed there are many people who still believe, even though they've been studying for years, that there's this thing called a straw man. And there is some process that you can go through to somehow separate yourself from the straw man and then take control of the straw man. There's still people saying things like the minor account. Is that what it's called? The minor account? Is that what it's called, guys?
Is the whole point of it
Yeah,
to get a check from it, to get paid from it, basically?
Um, kind of like a by the way get paid for it because you're setting your life, they think their life up in a way that if someone were to violate the trust that you set up, you'll be able to recoup damages. Okay, so and things like subrogation. We talked about subrogation yesterday, and of course it was revealed that many people are just saying these terms and they don't actually know what they're saying. They don't actually know what they're talking about. They have a flawed premise. I feel like I am too late to join classes. Too late into what? It's never too late to stand up for yourself. It's never too late, especially to challenge subject matter jurisdiction. The fee schedule. Let me see what y'all are saying in the chat. And these are people who believe themselves to be learned. Y'all hear what I'm saying? They believe themselves to be not newbies at least. Anybody understand what I'm saying?
yes.
They are saying things like the Bill of Exchange Act, the Sesta KV Trust. We're just like saying these things. And I can tell. Can't you guys tell? When people are just saying things, when you ask a simple question, like, where was that act legislated? They can't tell you, but they're saying these things. They think they know about these things. Yesterday, people said, well, they create an all caps entity for you. They created it. Oh. And okay, okay. So if remember, does anybody know the maxim that says one can only control what one creates? Anybody ever hear that maxim?
Yep.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and pull it
Yeah.
up. Maxim, one can only control what one creates. Go and see what that means so that when something falls out of your mouth, like they made an entity for me, and somebody is selling you a program on how to control the entity someone else create. Are you hearing what I'm saying, my people?
Mm-hmm.
How come we don't pick up on these things? A maxim that says one can only control what one creates. That then they say in the very next breath, they control this, created they, whoever they is, it don't matter who they is, actually. It just means it's not you. You feel me? So if one can only can only control what one creates, how are you going to be able to control this minor account that allegedly someone else created for you? Can somebody explain that to me? Why is that a widespread belief? I'll wait. And don't be asking me to repeat the question either. Either pay attention and participate, or don't pay attention and don't participate.
I think Malika is because people want to have the access to gain some type of financial help, but they are going about it using incorrect procedures given to those who.
So are you saying that we're poor, so we just believe? We're poor and we want it to work, so we're just gonna believe it? Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what you guys
Well, it's like you offer someone hope, right? And
no, no,
they,
no. We offer reason, logic, law. Okay, actual legit procedure.
no,
What's
I'm
up with
not
that?
saying you and Lawful
I'm not
Living
saying you
group,
either. Like, I'm
you
not
know.
making it
I'm
personal.
saying, yeah, I'm saying like um it's an option for some people to not want to do the work. So someone
But these are
comes up
people who
with,
think that they did the work. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? There are people who will tell you when we see people who repeat things like, okay, I just mentioned the Sesta KV Trust, the W4 sandwich. Okay.
I'm getting hungry.
What's that? What else?
No, you mentioned sandwich. I said I'm getting hungry.
Oh my gosh. I got some cucumbers here, bro. I gotta use them. I'm sure they'll make delicious cucumber sandwiches.
I think the problem is that not everything that is said by some of the people is totally inaccurate.
Yes, it
And
is. That's the whole
so it's,
thing. That is the whole thing. It's totally inaccurate because they might start off with a correct premise and then they go
yes,
off into a tangent. It's like, whoa, whoa,
exactly.
whoa, what?
That's the hard part because it's like you can technically have a trust, but the problem is we're not arguing that you can't have a trust. You understand what I'm saying? We're just saying that you don't
But that
need to
don't
have a
that
trust.
don't make it related to the Sesta KV trust that these people like to talk about. It doesn't mean it's related to the Bill of Exchange Act. It doesn't mean like so I asked, why do people think that a separate entity, a separate legal entity can be created simply by hitting the caps lock key or holding down the shift key and typing a name?
Because that's how they explain it.
Yeah, but how does that make sense? I don't care how you explain it. How are you gonna make it make sense? That's the part I don't get.
Mhm.
I don't know how the Guyanese guy got all the people to drink the poison, but it made sense to them.
He was not Guyanese. Come on. He was from here.
Yeah, Guyanese people gonna come for you.
Okay, I apologize.
Jim
I know
Jones.
in
Jim
Guyana.
Jones is not Guyanese.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just I just remember that. But
Okay.
Guyanese.
No Guyanese people were harmed in that whole situation.
But I don't know how Jim Jones got all the people to drink the poison, but they did. So,
Well, that's what we're here to try to figure out. Tony says, come get these free burgers. But that's not what these internet gurus are offering. They're not even offering free burgers. They're not even they're
telling you have to pay for setting up this trust and all of that stuff.
I get that. But
I
somebody
think that
said
it's just
that the Styles the Chicago Styles Manual is what dictates that the way someone's name is written is what makes them a corporation or creates a corporate entity. Have you guys heard of that reasoning?
heard something similar, but yeah.
I have
The Chicago Styles Manual, somebody said. It's
GPS
okay.
styles manual.
Go on to your favorite search engine right now. I don't care if it's Google or Bing or whatever, and find out if the Chicago Styles Manual is any kind of controlling law that dictates how an entity is created simply by writing it a certain way.
Well, how the Chicago style manual helps in legal situations, it's you have to like two-step with like a tango hat on or maybe a derby, and then you have to have a partner, and then you go round and round
And
dip it down.
do-si-do?
Yeah, and let me see you do the love slide.
Oh
Right?
my God.
Have you ever heard of
Okay, so you just
Grand
smash
Chic?
all the dances together, right? All of the
Might as
line
well.
dances, and you just smush them together. Because this is the type of this is why our community in this law study space cannot go forward together. People ask this, how come we can't just kumbaya, hold hands? There are some people out here that are quoting the Chicago Styles Manual as supporting law, primary, secondary, tertiary. What does it mean to be on the fourth level? What is that called? Quadriary? I don't know.
Quaternary.
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 Yeah, that's what it is for four of them. Yeah.
Okay. What? Why? Why are we not asking ourselves these questions before we buy into something or
I mean,
act upon it?
I think some people are just stuck in they just want to be saved, but the saving comes from yourself. So
I want
they
to be
think
saved too.
somebody
I
else
want to
can
be
do
saved
it.
too, but okay. Can we get saved by misapplication of law?
Absolutely not. But I guess
No.
anything sounds like a win as long as
Anything?
what I'm saying, like when people are in that situation where they think giving their money to someone and that person's going to fix all their problems and help them, they think the money is going to make all this.
So
I
you
don't know. It's
just
like they
stop
believe
thinking, I'm just gonna throw my money at somebody and stop thinking.
and hope.
Is that what we're expressing? Is that what we're
I don't think you
observing?
I mean, not me
stop
personally,
thinking
but
until
I know. I'm not
observe.
saying
Yeah.
you personally. I'm just saying
Yeah.
in observance, right? In observance of what's going on, because we're all aware this is going on. Yes,
Yes.
Word.
we hear it on YouTube.
Like
We
from
hear it on
desperation.
TikTok. We hear it
Yeah.
on Facebook. We
I
hear it.
think you just hit it. Desperation.
Yes,
You know, it
desperation.
makes you do
Okay,
things
so
that you
And
wouldn't.
desperation is
fear.
what makes it
Yeah.
so that reason and logic is thrown out the window.
I would say, yeah.
I would say yes, because like even as we relate it to the driver's license, like a lot of like I can't even say us, but like people, I would say me, got one thinking that we were trying to be a safe driver.
Well,
And
that
that's
but
not
that is
not
the
what
reason
it
to
was
get one.
for.
Hold on. That is that not the reason to get one? To certify that you are a safe driver? That is the reason to get one.
Yes,
Well, that was all
Except
our
but then we
interpretations
weren't
of it
we
in the
weren't
beginning.
using it under that classification of safe
exactly,
driver.
that's the issue. But
You
what
see what
made
I'm
us
saying?
do it is what we never think about.
That's what we were originally thinking. Like, I want to be a
what
safe
made us do it
driver.
And
without reading? What made us do it without reading?
because we're
Right?
told
Didn't
that
read
that's what we
anything.
Because a
do.
lot of people went before us and they tell us that we're gonna get
Yeah.
arrested if we don't do it. So somewhat
But-
fair, at least for me.
And
I
this
can't
is
speak
life
for
as we
everybody
know it.
else.
Yeah, and life as we know it. This is what
Yeah.
we've seen everyone before us do.
I get it.
They make it a rite of passage for people going in, in high school. Oh, I got my driver's license,
I would
got my
argue
driver's
it's
permit.
laziness.
Okay, Vidal says traditions.
Yeah. Tradition.
Someone
Yeah,
says public safety.
rite of
I'm
passage.
sure it has nothing to do with public safety. People
When I
don't think
first
straight
started
when
this,
they're in distress. I get that. I'm talking about the people who are repeating, okay? They just say the stuff about the Styles Manual as if they went to look it up. When did the Styles Manual, the Chicago Styles Manual, become law or controlling law or referenced in law? Like, when did it become that? The answer is never. And how quickly could
Never.
you have found that out? How quickly could you have known this as a fact? Probably quicker than you learn to remember the name Chicago Style Manuals, no?
Facts.
Before you could even be like, what is that thing called again? You could go and see that it controls nothing. You could go and see the Bill of Exchange Act is not American legislation. You can also know for certain that all the legislation that was inspired by or adopted under the same principles as Europe are in the legislation for real. They didn't leave it to chance. They didn't just like hope that everybody saw it. You know, like when you go into the statutes and you read something that says the common law of England is the law, and you actually could read the common law of England, you can read about it. You can read why it was non lex scripta or lex non scripta. I'm more talking about why we're repeating these things more than why we might initially believe them. And then people bring these things into what we would think is intelligent discourse. And
I
this is
think
why,
maybe
go ahead.
I would think maybe some people are confusing reading something on the internet with actually researching it. Like they saw it
Ooh,
somewhere, so it's like, okay, done. Fact check
ooh,
in.
their
ooh.
interpretation of it.
I heard that somewhere. I heard somebody say that somewhere. It sounds provocative, right?
Get the people going.
I think Hassan said that like at least a half dozen times yesterday. It gets the people going. It is one of the most widely used style references in U.S. scholarly and trade publishing. English style guide that sets rules for grammar, punctuation. Purpose and scope. The purpose is to standardize how texts are written, edited, and presented so that publications are clear. Is that like the thesaurus? Is that like a dictionary? Is that like, because it definitely is not legislation.
It sounds like that book that they used to give us in high school in English when you were
Yeah,
writing your papers and they would tell you use this book and make sure you pay attention to the
yeah.
standards in it. That's what it sounds like.
Keith talks about it. He calls it he tells everybody to get a thesaurus and the standard English dictionary and one other thing I can't remember about how to communicate in full and proper sentences. And then most people still can't communicate properly in full sentences, written or oral.
How is Keith doing these days?
You should check him on him. He participates in the on Telegram group.
Okay. I haven't seen him, so I was wondering.
You guys can also reach him at Wise Word Wizard
Yeah.
and check out his YouTube channel. He's still posting. You guys can encourage him by commenting. Where's the hole? Encourage him. Okay. He's also here on TikTok. If you guys have not seen Keith's page, he's here on TikTok. And before I go further, I want to invite everybody to take advantage of our 50 off coupon that's still going on until the 31st of December. I like saying December because it actually implies that there's 2 more months left in the year. Because there is. But we're going to celebrate the fiscal year with everybody else. Yay! Capitalist communism. Yay!
Nothing like that first quarter.
There's your answer right there.
My answer to what, King?
Why we believe the GPS manual and all of that. Indoctrination.
I don't know. I don't know. I could admit to
Same
being
reason why we believe December is the last year of the month. I mean, last month of the year.
well, yeah, well, you know, to me that's a show that's a lack of critical thinking, not necessarily indoctrination. What do you
But when
guys
I
think?
first started learning this in August of 2021, people like you interpreting this as the way that you are right now was not around.
I was here in 2021.
Yeah, you said that, but I hadn't heard of you in 21. So I've ran through a lot of different people that was interpreting all this stuff the same way, like Fran Sheikh Tariq Bey and Yusuf El and a lot of other ones. They told me about stop using the social security number and
hmm
it's just a lot of different things I've heard, but I think it's part of indoctrination. Like I wasn't at that time trying to learn how to actually go read for it. I was looking for a quick, easy way out. I thought they knew it. They told me. I tried it. Didn't work. Some people still saying it does, but they're not showing results of it.
Oh, they're not showing results.
They're not showing results of it.
Like I told you last night, Malika, on over the floor in public, it's one thing. But at the dinner table, when discussing it with like Brother Taj, if I'm sitting at the dinner table with him and Mother Delilah, the conversation that we have at Lawful Living is the conversation at the dinner table, but it was never the conversation coming across those lectures, no matter how much I pushed for it.
Why is that? Why is that? Just curious, your thoughts.
The only thing I came up with was like mixing an elephant with a rhino, elephino.
Well,
Meaning that
we
people
can
wouldn't accept it or
surmise
they wouldn't get it.
we could
I don't.
surmise why they would gatekeep because that's what
I
that is.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just know that anytime I went to mention stuff, it was like, oh, that might be too heavy. Huh? And the next thing I know, the dojo door's closed.
And everybody had to get real jobs.
Or I had to go join Lawful Living because the community where I was doing it at wasn't going for it.
All right, Tiny. Tiny says she
Damn, I
got
didn't
her
know that.
2 shirts and she's
That's
excited.
interesting.
Yay! Woo-hoo!
Yeah, shout out to you. You've been helping people ever since. That's what I'm talking about, Tiny. That's what we are here to do. We are here. We're not here to make people repent, but we're here to help them when they're ready to repent. Because I'm telling you, one of the things that stuck with me when I was on Rev teaches her ass off page is that you got to learn what it takes to take these folks to task and focus just on that.
Word.
Show that it's so easy that when people give you pushback about the simplicity, you can tell they just don't want it. They just don't. No excuses whatsoever. You know, people are still out here saying things like, oh, well, just as soon as you figure things out, they change the goalposts. Guys, the law is immutable. It does not change. It is not a gimmick. It is not a loophole.
I heard that one too. They
That
got
part, yes.
so much in their arsenal to where as soon as y'all figure it out, they got coming some whole different stuff.
That's a lie. When was the Magna Charta written?
1800s,
Not even
1400s.
18. The Magna Charta is hundreds of years allegedly older than that.
I thought Jay-Z did that album a couple years ago.
What in the Magna Charta is less true today? Less relevant today? Yes, Ruta, the Concise English Handbook. That is the book. The Concise English Handbook.
Hey Malika, I had to join from TikTok. I seen you posted a link. You remember when I sued the apartment for my deposit and stuff? And I just started going rampant after that, and I was like, oh snap!
Do y'all hear this? Welcome back
Remember I
in, Tiny.
was on the boats then. I called you and Hassan, and then I had something else, and I just started going rampant with it. And I just kept scheduling meetings. You remember? It
Yep.
literally like y'all. I scheduled a meeting with Malika because I work
Like 15
maritime.
times.
Yes, I work maritime, and my rotation was like 2010. It took 6 months before I could finally like get a meeting, and I was like,
She had to
it was
reschedule for 6 months.
yes.
Reschedule.
And then I caught a live. I was in Tennessee. And then when I came back, I scheduled it with Hassan because you was booked out still 2 months and you hopped in. And then we finished off that way. And then it was another one I ended up getting trading. But I just started going rampant. Once I was like, man, no process don't work. And I dropped those people and I stopped hanging with them. And I was like, it's deeper than that. Because you remember initially I was driving trucks. And then I
Mm-hmm.
stopped driving trucks and
And you
everything. Yeah,
got
and
on
that's
the
when the
boat.
Yep, that's when the as above is so below. And
Yes, look,
when
y'all
I
hear
jumped
this?
off the porch, it was a wrap. I turned the corner and I hit the highway and I've been running ever since.
Word.
I
I've
didn't
been
know it
running
was you.
ever
You had a
since.
different name. What happened to Walt? The Walt profile.
I know, I have different callings. People be calling me some of everything. I got Tiny, I got Walt, and that's just from the military. I
Well,
got Tizzy. So yeah.
I'm so glad you dropped in because when I tell people that there are people who come get remedy and go live their life, they may or may not come back to say hello. They think I'm lying.
Man, it makes me furious, and I see people every day, and I be like, you know what, y'all sit up here and y'all cry, because I'm from a small town, Columbus, and they've literally wiped out just about everything. They're putting highways in, and they're trying to make it more attractive because the base is there. That's pretty much the only thing, and they're building a new court building or something like that for the courts that we have down there, and it kind of looks like the Twin Towers. And people's like, oh, why don't they pour back into the community? Because they tore all the projects down, built apartments or whatever and stuff like that. And I'm like, y'all cry, but y'all steady pay taxes and everything and stuff. And like explaining, different stuff that I see on social media, and I comment, and I'm like, y'all can't sit up here and cry and complain. But when somebody try to educate you all, you know what I'm saying, or show you the knowledge, you call them crazy or everything, or
You know
you just
why?
rather.
I realized why, guys. I'm so glad you brought that up. Apparently, listen, you guys can tell me if y'all, disagree, and I'm okay with disagreement. It seems to me that most of the slaves want the masters to stop first.
Yes,
Y'all
yeah.
realize that? They want the antagonizers to stop antagonizing first. They want the deceivers to stop deceiving first. You guys
Which is
notice that?
crazy.
It'll
Yeah,
make
no,
more
I
sense.
agree. But
Yeah, I
slavery
agree.
never ended. It's organized.
I don't need to learn anything. They just need to stop. I shouldn't have to do anything. They should just know it's wrong and stop doing it.
And that's how you know those were the ones that were descendants of the ones that still stayed once slaves were allegedly free.
Yeah, those are the kind of people that are also the ones that are flipping their little thumbs on these games. Like when they have nothing to do, they play
Oh, they
these
have nothing to do.
ridiculous, when they have these ridiculous games like these, like, Candy Crush type of games. I'm just like, how could you even spend even a minute doing that? Like, it just
It's
makes no.
stupid. Waste of time.
I know. It's
Exactly.
like, seriously, like, isn't there anything you're interested in this
Now, don't
world?
get me wrong. I used to
It's
be a
flipping the
gamer.
damn
I just
colored
got back into anime,
thing.
but you're grown. Grow up. Like, look at the world.
It just seems to be a waste, but everybody's got their thing.
Yeah, some see and put in the work and some don't. But again, we're talking about the ones who are either half woke because they're realizing something is wrong. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not suggesting to tap people who are dead asleep on the shoulder and be like, hey. But we're talking
You
about
won't
the
get you
ones who
nowhere.
seem to be looking, especially the ones who claim to be doing, getting results, or even the ones that seem to be that alleged to be teaching people how to get results. They're not the typically the. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with playing video games, but they're not the tuned out ones.
Everybody heard that there was a way to not pay these bills, and that's what they was just listening for the answer for.
That's
Exactly. They
okay.
always looking for a way out to not like do something versus like the bigger picture of it. Well, they ain't gotta pay. That's just more Jordans for them. I don't know if y'all follow me. Anybody follow me? It's a couple of y'all in here that I follow, but those new Jordans that just dropped out. I can't say the word, but I said in fatigue is real, and that's exactly what I'm suffering. And the culture is overrated because also I posted a chart, and they are literally at the bottom. I think average salary is like 30,000, and it's crazy. So there's just more ways for them to spend shopping and go out and party.
It's a possession. They
Mm-hmm.
are possessed. They are possessed by the ideas that possessions mean success.
Yep.
It's crazy. Some people can pawn the shoes in their closet and actually get real assets. Y'all know who
Be
I'm talking
rude.
about?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like that good old fashioned self hate.
Be crying about the food stamps, but y'all got money for Jordans that just dropped yesterday.
Well, I'm
I do,
supposed to
I
be
do
getting
believe in
all
the
of my
possessions.
entitlements. But y'all see what's happening, right? We got the 50-year mortgage everybody's up in arms about. Everybody's up in arms about the 50-year mortgage. Y'all seen the memes about the 50-year mortgage, the posts about the 50-year mortgages, the articles about the 50-year mortgage. Y'all seen
Yes.
that?
No, I gotta look at that.
But
Let's talk
in
about it.
I mean, why do I care? Why don't they make it 500-year mortgages? What would I care?
And guess what? People will still struggle to try to buy a 6 bedroom, a 4 bathroom house just for two people, just to say, look at me, look what I lived my whole life to try to pay off,
Get
just to
out.
die, and it goes right back.
Two hundred
Get
thousand
out.
dollar house
That's the
versus a
slavery right
billion
there.
billion
That's how they
five when
keep
you
you
finish
enslaved.
paying for it.
Here's the thing that it makes no sense, right? And it's like we live in a paradox. We live in a paradox. And it's primarily because we're born into the paradox, not because we kind of like energetically agree with the paradox. And I think that being born into the paradox is a way to transcend it, to change it. Because if I am not a business owner, okay? If I'm not a business owner, I y'all already know. You cannot convince me that I need to structure my life as a business to have a life. I came across an ad for making a trust. And I keep listening to it thinking, okay, this is going to make sense as to why people would set up their private life this way. And it doesn't. Because the primary reason that people are selling trusts as a so-called financial protection vehicle is to protect is to protect assets from taxes. Did y'all realize that?
Yep.
Yes. That's the only
Well,
reason.
Tax
who
avoidance.
has to pay taxes?
Those that don't know how to buy, borrow,
Public.
die.
People in the
No, but
public.
I mean, like by the law, who is responsible for taxes by law?
Oh, tax pay
Taxpayers.
yours.
But I'm saying, who are taxpayers?
Businesses.
Businesses.
Businesses. So when they keep talking to me, set up this private family trust. Why do y'all keep saying it like that? Why are you presenting it as if it's actually private? And when
Like
you're
we not
selling it,
already private.
If it was private, you wouldn't know nothing about it.
Because we still think our all caps name is a business.
oh my God. Oh my God. And when I ask people what law supports that? What law supports that if you press the caps lock key or you hold down the shift and write a name, that is what creates an entity? What can anybody show me that? Can anybody show anybody that? I don't show yourself it. Can you show
It's
yourself it?
it's not. It wasn't never shown that it was a law. It was shown that it's just something that's supposed to be.
What?
Well,
What?
it's one of those
I
things.
don't
Where?
know how to explain
I
it.
mean, it can be, but it don't
Where?
matter.
Where does it say? Look, let's go to 12 USC 614. Why are we going to 12 USC?
Oh,
Let's
I
talk about
found it.
Was it a
I found
law?
it,
It was a
Malika.
rule.
let's talk about why we're going to Title 12 in the first place. Just don't look at my pumpkin pie recipe,
I
okay?
found it, Malika.
Found it what?
It's
Well,
it's on my birth certificate. I got authenticated.
oh,
Man.
oh my God.
That I got with a seal on it. So I can
Y'all,
hang it up next to my
wait.
diploma.
How
Full
many
faith
people
and
thought
credit.
she was actually going to say something for real?
So I can hang it up next to my college diplomas and stuff because now I'm official.
Right. Look, send me a photocopy since it's the same, and I'll hang it up next to my high school diploma and my university degree.
It's like people with the passport. How many stars you have? I'm like,
I,
what?
Got full
I
faith
will
and
put
credit.
it right next to my business law degree, my undergrad.
Get to see it.
Somebody said I sent mine to the treasury with $100
Bachelor's in
mail.
science. No. Yeah, bachelor's in science.
I
They
got
can't
mine
see my dirty
authenticated, been trying to
they
look
can't
for the
see
way
my
to
dirty
how to
specs.
use it.
Say that again.
I said I got mine authenticated and been still trying to figure out the way on how to use it. They
How
told me
come
I
you
can
don't have
recoup from
how come you
this.
don't have a list? Isn't it like Bitcoin? Don't they have a list of places that take birth certificates for payment?
No, you got to go to the bank and get that stamp, that green stamp on it.
And then what?
I forgot what they
Then
called
a
that
guarantee
stamp.
the
A
medallions,
medallion
medallions.
The
stamp? I know what
medallion
all that
stamp.
shit
You
is
got
called. I know what it is all called. Because I looked up all that shit.
oh, fun times,
So
fun
none of that
times.
is true. Is what you're saying.
Of
It's
course
not
not.
me that's saying it. I'm challenging anybody, not only who does believe it, but who wishes to believe it, to go and find the law that supports it.
It's just
You
a
know how
big
much more
escape
space I
room.
would have on
You'll
my
forever be
computer if
going
I
in
can delete all
circles.
that stuff?
What?
What'd you say, King Howard? You want to read all that
I
stuff?
said, you know how much more space I can have on my computer if I delete all of the stuff you
You
talking
might
about
as
is
well
not
just throw the
true.
computer away because it probably won't even work after
Throw
all
the
of that.
computer away.
Get a new one.
Probably got
It's
all
like
kind of
trying
viruses.
to train AI now after all that. Just get a whole new computer. It won't even process straight after all that crap.
Someone said I could have bought a Subway franchise for what I spent on college. Surely can. And guess what? That's where I worked while I was in college. I worked at the Subway that was in the lobby of the law school.
So cool.
I wonder how many attorneys I served at that Subway that I'm kicking their ass right now. Authentication is under consulate administrative law for travel overseas. Yeah, but who's travel overseas, Chris?
Citizens.
And who is that? Let's be specific.
Citizens who want to get their apostille
Yeah,
so
but
they
who
can
are the
move to another
citizens?
country.
Who are the
Not
citizens?
not us. Not nobody on
But
this
who?
call.
Who exactly are
People
they?
who work for the government.
Yes.
The
United
all
States
caps name.
businesses.
The all caps name. They said
People,
that's
people,
how
people, people
the
talk
United
about.
States got their citizens.
Say that again, King.
They said that's how the United States created their citizens through the all caps.
Who said where? What
15,
law says that?
15 USC 4724 E1A.
Why when
What?
we do the uses and we do the FOIA, it says you're not a citizen. No records found.
I'm just wanting to know, like, what law says that? Like, what law says what holding down the cap. Why holding down the caps key is not just holding down the caps key? So I could distinguish the letters that I'm writing because they're easier to distinguish when they're capitalized. Why don't we say that?
I mean, it was a part of our learning as far as proper nouns and all of that.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily, because we know that we're not speaking colloquially when, okay, we don't want any letters to be mixed up. So let's decide a policy to make things in caps so it's easier to read the letters. Why don't we say that? Isn't that just as plausible? Yes or no?
Yeah, but I get what he was saying from the public food system.
I don't. Can somebody explain it to me?
That? Can you say it again?
When he was talking about capitalizing certain like noun and stuff like that, making it important.
Yeah, but that's when you're speaking in proper sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Not when you're simply doing data entry. Yes or no?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, how was it that you just said, can we not say that instead? I missed that part.
Some people say that some writing in names in all caps or certain terms in all caps, certain words in all caps mean that the United States or some government entity or some entity in general is converting something into something else. Yeah. Illegally, unlawfully, unethically, or something to that effect. That's what is it. That's the commonly accepted idea. Yes or no?
Right. Yes.
That the just holding down the caps key or holding down the shift key inside that somehow creates some what law says that? And why can we not just as easily say it's a way to easily distinguish letters when in data entry? Why can't we just say why don't, if that's not just as plausible, I don't know what is.
That's what it says in the U.S. style manual, which is exactly what
it does not say it in any United States styles manual. It does not say that. It does not say that in any United States.
It's in the
GPS styles manual.
U.S. The GPS. Thank you.
Who is GPS? Who is GPS?
The government printing office. GPO.
It's what is that? GPO. What is GPO?
It's just the government printing office. It doesn't apply to us. I'm just saying that's what.
What is GPO? I don't know what that is.
The government printing office.
The government printing
that
office.
Was their job. They were publishing office. Right. So they got their orders to print the style manual and this distinguished titles and stuff like that. That's all that's about.
Data. It's for data elements. It's not attempting to change the laws of language.
And it's still for the
data elements. What's that, Najima?
Said it's still for the government.
But even so, because remember, people are saying things like the government created an entity. Yes? People are saying it. And then somehow that entity became attached to us. And I don't understand how people just nod their heads and go, uh-huh, uh-huh. And I don't understand how people just nod their heads and go, uh-huh. There's a maxim that says one can control only what one creates. We're just gonna go in circles. But there are people out here trying to convince us.
Government and government created businesses.
Okay, so if the government created that entity, how can you do something to control it if one can only control what one created?
That's right.
But who asks those questions besides, a few of us troublemakers that gets booted from people's lives? Why are we not asking this critical thinking question?
It's because when you begin to ask them level of questioning, hey y'all, I just jumped on. When you begin to ask that level of questioning, what happens is you're labeled as a troublemaker because anytime a person is trying to push a position that they can't prove, then you put them in a position where they have to label you or consider you a troublemaker, all for doing what a person is supposed to do, which is ask questions.
Or they say, you know what, get you an attorney.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like you need an attorney. I can't give
Because
you
I'm
legal
asking you
advice.
to explain
Yes.
how, if the maxim is true that one can only control what one creates, how can I also go and take over some so-called minor account that I did not create?
And they don't know.
And we just drink this Kool-Aid. It just bypasses all critical thinking. Or is it that there is no critical thinking?
I just think it's actual thinking. It's just actual thinking. We just been programmed to think ignorantly or not think at all.
They also say because it's your name that they using.
Is it my name? Is it my name?
That's what they
Okay,
say
so
also.
let's
How
say
are
it's
they
my
able to
name.
mock our name
Okay,
like that?
hold on. Let's say it's my name. Okay. But you are using it. It's either you paid me for the use, right? Right? Or perhaps that's
It's
not my
identity
name.
theft.
Or perhaps that's not my name. How many people bust into the Wendy's Corporation home office named Wendy's and demand recompense?
Nobody I've seen or heard
Somebody
of.
said I'm cock blocking the trust gurus. I'm cock blocking the trust gurus. What?
Messing up the church's money.
Uh-oh.
Get your hand out my pocket, Malcolm.
Someone
So
says,
what's the
yes,
distinction
get rid
in
of them.
why are they able to write our name in all caps and not
Why
be
are
us?
they?
And
But that's the whole thing. Is it my name or is it a name like Wendy's that might look like mine but ain't mine?
it looks like yours.
Okay.
They
But isn't that a mental trick? Like how we know how kids hide something behind their back and say, I have something you don't know. Y'all ever heard that game?
hmm
That's funny
I,
because I
or,
I think that's exactly what they did.
or
They
or
did
that
that,
game where
and
somebody pretends to snatch your nose off your face. I got your nose.
Right.
Y'all ever heard those games?
Yeah, since when
Yeah.
did my nose look like a thumb, though?
Yeah, but see, little kids don't typically ask that. They just start reacting. Ah, ah, he got my nose. Ah. Yes,
Word.
Crazy.
guys. How many people bust in that name? What is it? Howard Hewitt? Is that the name? Howard Hewitt?
Right.
Right? How many people name Howard or Hewitt or even Howard Hewitt bust into the corporate office at Howard Hewitt and ask them, how dare they? Okay. How many people have done that?
Ever.
How many people
I've
want to do
considered
that?
it.
Do you guys? I actually worked with a business partner whose name was Charles Murphy. Isn't that funny, guys? And
Charlie
then
Murphy.
And then there was an Eddie Murphy's brother on TV named Charlie Murphy. Charles Murphy. Did y'all know that? Do you know my
Right.
friend actually named Charlie Murphy never sued Eddie Murphy's brother Charlie Murphy for using his name?
Ain't that something?
It's
Bingo.
it's spelled the exact same way. Why couldn't he have done it?
Because
okay, so
his
is it a
Charlie Murphy
difference?
isn't that Charlie Murphy.
What? Say that again.
Because his Charlie Murphy isn't that Charlie Murphy.
Oh my God. Oh,
Okay, so
look,
let me ask you
somebody shared
this.
this video with their favorite internet guru that told you that because the government created an entity with the exact spelling as your name, that's what made it yours. Tap your favorite guru.
Okay, so
Tag them to come to the live.
do the date of births make a difference?
I don't care what the woman just said. Your Charlie Murphy is not my Charlie Murphy. It is not mine. It is not mine. You cannot convince me it's mine. You can't make me fight you as if it's mine because I can only control what I created. And if we both agree I didn't create it, How could it have anything to do with me?
That
A
part.
lot of people's pride because they want to think they're grown and have amassed some type of
I'm not a
finance.
newbie. How dare you invite me to Newbie Tuesday? I'm a real boy.
Just saying.
I
I'm just saying.
study the law, Malika. I went to law school. I graduated. I made a course, Malika. My course was around for 15 years before you even started lawful living. That means mine is more right.
Wow.
That's crazy.
No, but I gotta think. I gotta look. I'm grown. I'm in my pride. I'm not about to listen to you because you're Jamaican or something.
Look, block another bay.
I know, right? Jesus Christ.
You know they look for any reason to block you. Oh, you're Jamaican, block. You're a bay, block.
Oh
Well,
no, Muslims are more. Oh
You're
yeah.
not a Hebrew Israelite, block. You told people to question how exactly trademarking someone's name makes it so they can win a case by just slapping the trademark down. How is that different from slapping the birth certificate down on the table?
crazy.
How is that different?
But
Somebody
Malika,
said everything is Irie. Yeah, man.
As a matter of fact, I'm only gonna come to lawful living and listen to only people from the Caribbean. And if people wear purple or fezzes, I'm just going to try to stay away. Let me stop.
That's okay. Like I said,
but I tell you, if you remove the whole idea of monetary gain away from it, how many people would actually be trying to go to these people that be selling this false information?
I don't know. I think they still
I
would
have
go.
no
They're looking
idea.
for remedy.
Crickets. Well, the
no,
remedy in most cases is monetary.
they want the unlimited money on the Sesta KV Trust. That's what I'm saying. That's what we were just talking
Right.
about a few minutes ago.
It's
They want that
monetary.
unlimited money. Like, but what country was the Sesta KV Trust legislated in?
Was that Britain,
I think it
England?
was England, right?
UK,
Someplace besides the
UK.
USA, right?
Right.
So what are we talking about? How are we getting USA remedy with chasing the Sesta KV Trust?
They said you had to come back and reclaim what was yours because you were lost at sea.
You're getting a
Who
paid
remembers that
vacation to
section
the
of Title
Fed.
31?
Man.
Who remembers the Lost at Sea section on Title 31? I just shared it the other day.
Yep.
Title 31.
Y'all don't remember?
No.
I'm trying to figure out when was I lost at sea.
I just shared it like 2 weeks ago, guys.
You
Do you remember his 7?
said what to Title 31?
The Lost at Sea, the presumption of being lost.
Drawing a blank. Let me check. Hold on. You said
Presumption
the
of lost at
presumption of
sea.
what? Being lost at sea? That thing?
Yeah, I think I got it.
I'm sorry, I can't search. I'm driving, Malika.
It's okay. Like you're actually driving. That's what makes it funny. He on the clock right now.
I'm on the clock, y'all. Shoot, I better be watching out for these policy officers.
Oh man. So
Speaking of
I
which,
think it's
Malika,
40
I got
something
summons to court.
for jury duty.
No.
Oh, you were the all caps man.
Oh, stop it.
Malika, is it 31? Is it 31 USC 3125? Is that it?
No.
Not it.
I got a
Um,
letter today saying they were gonna suspend
okay,
my
but let's read what it says here. Let's read what it says here. So I put 31 USC presumption of loss at sea, okay? The legal concept related to death or property loss at sea, found in general maritime law, guys. You see it?
Ain't that interesting?
Okay. Death on the high seas, or what does that say? The second one? What is that?
Missing military personnel.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you. So who does the Cesta
Military
KV Trust
members.
apply to? Who?
Military personnel.
Military personnel. It's called presumption of death. Sorry, guys. I'm just not remembering.
But that's when you got to go tell them you're alive.
But how about you tell them when did you ask them to show you when you joined the military though? Y'all see how that's okay? Here it is. It's 38. That's why 38-108, guys. Here it goes.
Well, the same way they can presume us to all be military, it's the same way
They
they
don't
presume all
though.
of us
They
to be a
don't though.
business.
They don't though. Think about how we're acting. Think about how
Right.
we're acting. Think about where the birth certificate is.
Following orders.
Okay, think about where the birth certificate is.
Title
Title
V.
5. Yes,
Yep.
Title 5 is where the birth certificate is. So who is acting like in the military? Or who is how is the presumption of being in the military being created? Is it just
That
thrusted
part.
upon us?
That whole foundling thing, if you hit your back button twice, it said something about the whole abandoned property thing.
Yes, it
It
does.
might be what
Ah,
maybe
It's
using.
related of being lost at sea, that abandoned
right.
property stuff. Okay? So the presumption of death. Let's go. It's Title 38, not 32. Okay. So this is where they come from, guys. So I want to show you something. I'm going to turn the camera around for my TikTok people. Let me see if I can get my picture out of the way.
Yeah,
I thought I was actually going to have to
before you
leave.
was 8 years old.
Hey, gang. Go ahead and throw
All
your
right.
gifts now you can see my ugly face. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, hold on. Let's flip that camera around because I want to show you guys. Title 38. This is because we're dispelling myths, okay? Sound familiar here, guys? The 7-year absence presumption of death. Does this sound familiar to anybody?
That's something.
Yeah,
Sound
I've heard that.
familiar? Anybody ever heard something about they think you're dead? You gotta go
Yes.
tell them you're alive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I hear some people laughing. Am I striking a chord?
Yep.
They talk
Yes,
about you
indeed.
lost. Go ahead.
Oh no, I said yes, indeed. Go ahead, Malik.
Okay, y'all can write this down. I get accused of pulling things out my behind, except I be showing y'all where the shit come from. I show how to apply critical thinking exercises instead of just I believe it because somebody in Gazelle Shades told me while it was laying back on the couch of their Airbnb with their dyed beard.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
where they put a little kiwi. Is that what the shoe polish is called? Little kiwi
Wow.
polish.
Not Beijing or just for men, huh?
Oh,
They put a little
oh,
kiwi shoe polish on their beard and their mustache, and they
Talking
lay
about
back on their
how
they
many
lay back on their
multi-millionaire
their
friends they have.
Airbnb. Go ahead.
Talking about how many multi-millionaire friends they have.
Oh my God. You want to
Oh,
know what's funny?
Shanae.
I mean, maybe he does. I mean, I have multimillionaire friends. One of my multimillionaire friends saw me trying to teach y'all with my cheap ass mic, and he sent me a whole recording suite complete with the camera, a mic, everything.
Got a multi-million-dollar friend too, and they was gracious enough to give me a great review about astrology, but what they eat don't make me shit. So anyway.
I know, right? I'm like, he's on a cruise right now. All I do is like his pictures. Like, like I'm glad you're having fun, bro, in the Caribbean. I mean, I'm just kidding. Anyway, 38 USC 108, 7-year absence, presumption of death. I want you guys to read very carefully with me because y'all know we're going to click on this shit called secretary right here. Who y'all think is the secretary? Who y'all think is this secretary here?
Commerce, maybe.
Take
Hold
some
on,
good guesses. Take some good guesses.
Secretary of Agriculture?
Defense Secretary.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's think
defense. That
about it.
makes
Let's
sense.
let's
Secretary
read.
of Defense.
No state law providing for a presumption of death shall be applicable to claims for benefits under laws administered by the secretary if evidence satisfactory to the secretary is submitted establishing the continued and unexplained absence of any individual. Hassan, like, is that how you say it? Individual. From that individual's home and family for 7 or more years, and establishing that after diligent search, no evidence of that individual's existence after the date of disappearance has been found or received, blah, 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 yakety schmackety. Anybody want to see who the secretary is?
Yes.
What does that say?
Ooh, me.
Veteran affairs.
Oh, and who are the veterans?
The military.
The
Wow.
military.
Ain't
So
that something?
let's ask ourselves again with some critical thinking hats on. Who TF is the Sesticate Trust v Act for? Just
The
anybody?
The military.
Potentially, since it was written by a military nation, the parliament that controls the military, perhaps that's who it's for. So instead of declaring that one is alive, or at least not dead, instead of declaring that, what might be a better question to ask?
Whose authority did y'all get this
Did
from?
they make it back from the war?
Did I join this? Did I become a part of here? What is
Right.
happening right now?
Did the secretary authorize me to be a part of this shit?
I'm telling you, did the board deem my presence necessary?
Who's a resident?
Come on,
that-
guys.
So when they created the all caps name, that was them creating the military. So
Why? I don't know. I don't
how are they
concern
able to just
myself.
knock our name like that?
I don't concern myself with the creation of other people's things. I don't care why they created it. All I care about is when they try to attach something that they allegedly created to me that they did not create. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care why they made anything. If you're not trying to attach to me, I don't get how that's my business. But if you try to attach it with me, I'm going to have some questions of when I joined. You see? It creates a presumption of death for VA benefit purposes. What in the world?
That part.
Then they tell you how 7 is some magical number. It's real magical. It is.
I'm a magical number.
Not in this sense, though. It doesn't have anything to do with regular people. You cannot tell me that because I was born, I'm inside of this particular matrix.
Right.
Because I've not found any law that says that. From your barn, these are the rules for. I never saw anything that said that.
You can't do that to the Amish.
You can't do it to Malika either. See, because I understand that there's power in numbers, but I don't need nobody but myself for me to declare for myself.
Word.
I don't have to be like the attorney tried to tell my son, since he's not part of the Amish or the Mennonites. Excuse me?
What?
Ain't no law that says I have to be part of some larger group to have my individual rights protected.
Come on now.
Private protected rights, right?
It don't say like, oh, it don't even say it got to be a group of 2 or more. Do you realize that? It's not a group of 2 or more type shit going on here.
I don't even think the Amish anymore. I think that originally that had a lot to do with why they live the way they do, but I don't even think a lot of them realize that now. You know, it's like, I mean, maybe
everybody is being assimilated because that's the only way this beast system grows. They say in their laws that it's only applicable to certain persons at certain times in certain places, but then they create an environment that influences people. Mm-hmm. And people allow themselves to be influenced by without invoking critical thinking. People think they need to invoke equity and they need to invoke common law. But I think we just need to invoke some
Private
critical
capacity.
thinking, because that's one of the most uninvoked things of all time.
People
People think
perish
it's
for lack of
difficult.
knowledge.
People think it's difficult to communicate with me because they start saying things and I start going, well, what do you mean by that? Well, what do you mean by that? And they want to just be like, well, you know what I mean. Well, I don't know what you mean, because there's people out here talking
Right.
about presumption of death and that they have to declare they're alive. And every time I read something about that, it's talking about the military. But when I ask these people when they joined the military, they said they never have. So why are they talking about this?
If
How
you
am I
fear
supposed to know
being
what they're talking about?
if you fear being wrong when Malika questions you, just say it with your chest. At least be confidently wrong.
That part, Hassan.
You know what I mean? Please be confidently wrong. At
It's
least
okay to
that.
say you don't know.
For real.
I don't know is a scientific and legally competent answer.
Nah, Malika, you stop all of that. You let me walk and be blind just so I can be
I
blind.
sure will. I sure will. Cause what you gonna stop doing is trying to take me with you. That's what we gonna stop doing. Okay, because when people realize they can't control me, they block me. When I realize I can't control people, I was like, well, maybe we could be friends. Maybe, you know. I've actually said that to my manslave before. People think because he's quiet that he just take anything. I'd be like, you know, I like you. You don't just take whatever stupid shit I say. Most of the time, my husband's looking at me like, yeah, right.
That's kind of how like the rich people too are, like where they'll have like, these people who are really like maybe underhanded or whatever, they like really cold-blooded, and they can, do all these big huge things in life, but it's because they, have a certain type of personality or whatever. But
But
somebody
also
else,
they know most people are pushovers. And if you just act
right?
confident in this world, you can be rich and wrong.
No, but
Right.
what I was gonna say though, it's like they'll like somebody else that's like that too, just because they, they can relate to that, and it's like,
Yeah.
um,
They
so
envy that.
I
They
can
want to
totally
be
relate
like
to what
that.
you're saying by that.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Jake.
Oh no, that's it. I was just kind of just,
But
yeah,
you see what Title 38 is, guys? What does that say right there? I mean, like, come on.
Military.
Veterans benefits. What does it look? What does that say right there? What does that say right there?
Government organization
Government. And then what does it
and
say right there? Look.
employees.
What did I say right there?
Government organization and employees, Title V.
Oh, five.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. Because these
Come
attorneys
on
think
now.
I don't know how I know all the parts of the United States Code better than attorneys.
That's what a birth certificate is, ain't it?
That's Title 5. Title 5 is with a birth certificate. Title 5, 301 and 305.
That is correct.
Okay, what does that say right here?
Federal rules for employee benefits.
What does that say?
Covering,
Covering what?
Covering Social
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 Security.
Covering
Security.
what?
Security.
Hold on.
Supplemental security income.
Covering what, guys? Covering
Social
what?
Security
Okay, Social Security numbers are for who?
Employees of
It's
the
for
of the
United States.
government.
employee benefits. Federal, guys.
That's
Federal
crazy.
employee
Crazy.
benefits. I don't have to tell people stop using your birth certificate. You should be starting to ask whose birth certificate?
That part.
Who stop using social security number? I don't have to tell you stop using social security. Whose social security number is it? When did you join? When did you join? There are gurus out here trying to tell people to authenticate their birth certificates and use the social security numbers to self-enrich. Anybody ever heard about that? They don't call it
Yep.
self-enrichment though. The
Yeah.
gurus don't want to call it self-enrichment.
The government owe you. Your birth certificate is worth 100 million. Go get it.
Nah. They talk about numbers that start with T's and B's and Q's, don't they? They tell
Yep.
you it's attached to an unlimited account. Y'all know how to spell unlimited? Look. Yeah, y'all see
File a
that?
UCC one. File a UCC one with the $9 billion lien.
You see that? They try to tell us the government created an account for us, and you have to claim it. You can see it. You can see it. I'm holding it up right here in front of you, First Lady.
Get sent to jail for impersonating a government official. Oh man.
What's funny is both the people, some well-meaning, and the attorneys are trying to impersonate government employees. Did y'all know that?
Ain't that something? Now, that one I didn't know with the lawyers.
What do you mean? Aren't lawyers trying to look? Let me show y'all.
Impersonating military personnel.
No. Look, let's just go to the section. I remember when I first started learning this stuff in 2016, 2017, guys, I was like, man, I wish I could be able to call off those codes the way that Rod Class was like riddling off the codes and riddling off the rattling off the what do they call it? The statutes at large. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I want to get it down like that. And I didn't realize I got it down like that until people started telling me the same thing I used to tell him. Hold on, slow down. What's that one again? I read so much of this stuff with comprehension, which I can't say for other people who claim read. They go, y'all ain't reading. They don't tell you what to read. They don't break it down for you. They don't have you critically think about it. They don't ask, okay, if there's holes in my story, let me know. If you guys have any questions, do not ask your questions, okay? So let's go to where it is in the book. What is that? You see what that says there, right? What does that say right there?
Citizen of the
United States. 911, 9/11.
Ain't that something?
Aren't the attorneys doing this?
Falsely, willingly representing himself to be
defined under the title of attorney.
Okay. But they're not. We all know that attorneys is foreign agents. Okay.
That's right.
But how about this part? Are attorneys officially officers or employees of the United States or any state?
No.
No, they are not.
When we are invited to court, and we come to lawful living and say things like, I have a court date. And we say, are you impersonating? Are you impersonating an officer or employee of the United States? People will say what?
No, I'm not.
So then how do you have a court date?
But they sent me a piece of paper and told me I gotta be there.
What? And when did they become the boss of you?
That part.
Because look at who they're the
when
boss
you
of.
act
What does that say
under
there?
the authority.
What does that exact? Say that again, bro.
When you act under the authority of the United States.
Whoever falsely assumes. Isn't it a false assumption? That a court of the United States can command us without any proof or even question of how we became who the United States can command?
That's right.
We all know the attorneys would have us believe, well, these laws exist, so it applies to everybody. But how come ain't no law that says that? How come there's no law that says the mere existence is what makes it applicable to you? Or to someone? How come it doesn't say that? In such pretend character demands or obtains money, papers, documents, or thing of value. I mean, isn't that anything? That's a deed. That's a note. That's an application. Is it not? Come on, who's still on with me?
That's true.
Come on now.
Look, this is one of my favorites here. Right here, look. What does that say? What does that say?
Predators of the United States.
Predators of the United
Now think
States.
about all these debt collectors that are chasing 3 out of 4 people. Think about all the debt collector offices and attorneys
What's going on, brother man? How you feeling?
trying to collect
Very
obligations of the United States. Are they not? If you're trying to collect an obligation of the United States, are you not acting on behalf of a creditor? Allegedly? You're allegedly acting on behalf of a creditor? Veronica said, that's how my husband got me too. Yeah, your husband looking at you like, yeah, right. Okay, lady.
But we are still the creditors, right?
How? Let's talk about it.
Malika, don't hurt him.
No, I think it's so
I'm
entertaining that
asking.
you guys view the conversations that we have as painful. Y'all see what
No,
I
I'm
had up on the
asking me.
screen?
I want clearance.
Y'all
No,
see what I had up on the screen, TikTok? You want
yeah,
Clarence?
we joking with you, bro.
You see what Rafiki put on the screen? It says, this was all done watching the As Above, So Below. I know some of y'all can't see it because it's on TikTok. This was all done through watching the As Above, So Below and attending the free Zooms. And I got my verbiage down. And now they think I have an attorney feeding me info. I took a screenshot of that. Some of you guys on TikTok can see it. The As Above, So Below series is in our absolutely free newbie guide that our friend-in-law Linnea, shout out to Linnea, created out of the kindness of her heart to share with others. She was not asked to do it. She was not paid to do it. But the least y'all could do is thank her. Either thank her by using it, by sharing it. You could send her a tip, buy her coffee, some bananas. What y'all eat down there in the swamp? I'm just kidding.
Everything.
Some mango, right? This gentleman here, Rafiki, says, all done through watching the As Above, So Below series and attending the free Zooms like the one you're on now. But again, that does not mean that all of our time has to be free and all of our stuff has to be free because I gave you everything for free. But if you're trying to tie me up, it's okay. Grease my palms. Okay. So what did somebody say? We are still the creditors, right?
Yeah.
Where do we find who are the creditors of the United States? And if is a creditor the same as a benefactor?
No.
What's the difference between a benefactor and a creditor? Why is the term relevant? Why is the term benefactor relevant when we're talking about creditors or who is a creditor? I know this Newbie Tuesday, but come on.
One is crediting and one is debiting.
Good guess. The key difference in the nature of the transaction. What?
Wow.
The key difference is the nature of the whole law is about the nature of the transaction, my people. And most of us don't know the nature of any of the transactions that we've been in. Do you guys realize that?
That is correct.
We don't know the nature of the transaction when we got our learner's permit. We don't know the nature of the transaction when we got our actual driver license. We don't know the nature of the transaction when we got a marriage license or when we even got a divorce. We don't know the nature of the transaction when we even go into a store or market or we're standing at a cash register. We don't know the nature of I don't know if we know the nature of any of the transactions that we're in.
I agree with you on that one.
The key difference is the nature of the transaction and the direction of the obligation. A benefactor gives a gift, while a creditor is owed a debt.
That's why they've been saying we are the creditors and that the government owed us for using our names.
I don't think that the government is using our names.
They're not.
Because I didn't make the name that the government is using.
That's why I say so there's got to be a key difference with the difference in date of births from the
No,
date that we was
no, no,
born to
no,
the
no,
actual
no,
date
no,
that they
not
filed
date
it.
of birth. It's not date of birth. Did I create it or did you create it? What does it matter about the date? Did
If you
I make
didn't
it or did
create
you make it? Because let's say I made one on the 1st and you made one on the 3rd, and then I made one on the 5th, and then you made one on the 7th. Does it matter who made it first or does it matter who made it, period?
Matters who made it, period.
A benefactor gives a gift, while a creditor is owed a debt. The party who gives a benefit, gift, or donation without accepting repayment. Now, think about the preambles of the state constitution, guys. Think about the preamble of the state's constitution. Who has one handy? We're going to learn today. We're going to stop letting people blow smoke up our behinds, telling us that we need to correct our status in order to beat a traffic ticket.
I have one, Malika.
Yes.
For North Carolina, it says that we, the people of the state of North Carolina, are grateful to Almighty God, the sovereign ruler of nations, for the preservation of the American Union and the existence of our civil, political, and religious liberties, and acknowledging our dependence upon Him for the continuance of those blessings to us and our posterity, due for the more certain security thereof, and for the betterment of this government of this state, ordained and established this Constitution.
Okay. So in that sentence or one sentence, there are a couple of capacities that are mentioned in relation to each other. Yes or no?
Yes.
What are those capacities, guys? Anybody that were mentioned in that sentence?
The people,
And
God,
Almighty.
and
the Constitution,
there's 3. The entities. You already said the people, one entity. God. Well, who's the other entity?
the state.
Read it again, Najima.
We, the people of the state of North Carolina, grateful to Almighty God, the sovereign ruler of nations, for the preservation of the American Union and the existence of our civil, political, and religious liberties, and acknowledging our dependence upon Him for the continuance of those blessings to us and our posterity, due for the more certain security thereof, and for the better government of this state, ordain and establish this Constitution.
So we got which entities? We got the people.
Posterity.
We got the
People,
people,
God, the government of the state.
people, God, and the government of
government.
the state.
Word.
That's it. How many entities do we need to make a trust?
3.
3.
3.
How many you heard in that preamble?
3.
3.
Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So,
But God is the grantor,
and
the government is the trustee, and we are the beneficiaries.
I think we're the benefactors,
Factor.
which has nothing to do with the creditors.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because telling yourselves you're a creditor, that shit got y'all chasing y'all tail, don't it?
Hell
All
yeah.
day.
Come on now,
Almost
That
Malika.
shit
caught
got
that
y'all
bitch.
chasing y'all own ass. Yes or no? Who's gonna
It
be
sounds
honest?
exciting. Yeah, it does
Y'all
sound
chasing y'all
exciting.
own whole ass and not
Yep.
realizing it.
I
When
think it's that
dogs
whole
chase their
idea of
tail,
being owed something, Malika. I think that's where people be getting lost in the sauce. Oh, they owe me. I'm gonna get it.
That's from
I mean,
interpreting the
but
Sister by Act the wrong way.
oh my God. So now we gotta pretend to be do we need to go back to 18 USC 911, 912, 9? Y'all
No,
think the
no.
answer
I
is
was just talking about the
we just gonna start
interpretation.
impersonating some agents around here? That's the resolution.
Man.
Yeah, but I think it's a distraction. I think it's a distraction. I think it's keeping a lot of people busy not watching the circus.
It's keeping a lot of people pissy. That's what it's doing.
Exactly. That's right.
Right? Wow. Let me ask you guys a question. Do y'all think dogs realize that they're chasing their own tail? Like it's their tail that they're chasing?
I don't think they care.
Do y'all?
They don't
Oh
care.
shit! So which one are we? Is it that we don't care or that we don't know? Which one is about us?
I think for the people that like the exciting parts of it, they don't care. Like it's exciting. You're using new vocabulary. You sound smart.
Well,
I don't know.
I think it's also it's chasing the American dream, right? I mean, isn't being, wealthy and not having a care in the world, isn't that kind of the American dream? Being able to achieve whatever. I mean, it's just a lot of BS. I mean, when you listen to people, they have spent 20 years of their life chasing their own tail, and they still are chasing it. That's the sad part. And they haven't gotten anywhere. They're still in the same loop.
Playing around.
Exactly. And they're not getting anywhere. It's like it's like the Jetsons when he's walking the dog on the treadmill, right? Right? That's exactly what it is. And, and they don't get it. They don't get it.
That's why we have to leave them where they are. As long as we qualify them, right?
That's right.
As long as we qualify them. Just like our brother-in-law, Jesus, or whatever y'all want to call him. Okay? Was not going around actually trying to convert people. They would not. That's why people who try to convert people get on my nerves. Why don't you just live your life so well? I come and say, give me some. How about that?
Well, and the thing about it is that, when you think about it, I mean, all these people that are out charging people, if you had it, you wouldn't need to charge and you wouldn't be here.
Well, come on now. It's only because they're trying to say they can show you how to bust into the back door of the Treasury Direct.
Well, and
not
it's
how
also,
to get remedy in general.
That's right. Well, because I mean,
so the idea when you say the American dream, I don't know if a lot of people will say working hard and having ethics and all that stuff, that's the American way, if
buying a house.
Well, I mean, I think where we're at in our history right now,
not laying around and doing nothing and hope the government comes and makes you wealthy independently.
I know, but people have, I mean, over the last 5 years, haven't you noticed people have sort of thrown in the towel of this working hard? They don't want to work hard anymore. They just want it, they just want to give.
Well, I think that's relative, right? If you realize that you have been brainwashed to work hard while other people take advantage of what you work for, it's relative. It's not that you might not enjoy working hard, right? Or see value in it, but do you want to do it as a slave?
No, and you don't want to do it for somebody else, right?
Right.
You don't want to make somebody else rich.
I mean, I don't mind making somebody else rich, but can we get rich together or not? Exactly. Is one of us gonna have to be slave? Because if one of us gotta play slave, it ain't gonna be Malika. Does everybody realize that? If I like getting rich together, is everybody okay with that? We all get wealthy together. Everybody's so good with that?
Yeah.
Yes,
but if the game says that one of us got to be slave, it's not gonna be Malika.
Well, but
somebody got to work for McDonald's and fix my sandwich.
I got a friend.
I don't eat McDonald's. I'm just saying.
I got a friend I used to date 20-something years ago. He said the same thing, and I thought to myself, see, that's why we're not married. You need somebody else to do your shit.
They
Nah,
say somebody got to be on the lower level, somebody got to
that's
be on the
how he
top
was.
level
Yes, he used
in
to
order
say
for this to
somebody
go
got to be on the bottom of the
continue.
totem pole. Yes, yes. See, benefactor, the role, a person who provides a gift. Doesn't the preamble sound like a gift? Pull up any preamble. Doesn't it not sound like a gift? Don't them preambles sounds like
Mm-hmm.
gifts?
See, the
Yeah.
thing is, when you, okay, I'm going to go out on a whim here. When
In order
you
to form a
give
government.
gifts to someone, you're doing it with a certain order, so to speak. And let's think about the word order. You may be nowadays ordering it from somewhere online. And then another way of ordering that gift to someone, you may send it to them via mail. Another word for to order or to set something in order is ordain.
See, so when does this say right here, and then the government got to pay me back? We, the people of the state, grateful to the supreme ruler of the universe for our liberties, do ordain this constitution. Does that say, and then pay me back like you owe me rent? Pay me back like it's money I spent.
You owe me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, me something. Oh, oh.
No, but I mean, I guess maybe you're talking about two different things, but like I'm thinking of like the what is it, the feed the fam, like that whole like not, I don't want to say concept, like that
You can say concept.
that approach, I think, like, or that approach to the you know, the bigger picture. I was able to take what I learned in that class, and in my specific case, because of the type of mortgage I have, apply that. I haven't got revenue yet, but I'm working on applying that to my mortgage because I feel that it fits perfectly, and it's I think it's a great you know, it's all great information
It's
because it's
principle.
true.
That's why,
It's
right?
freaking true. Yeah. Yeah,
It's
it's a
the
principle.
principle.
Exactly.
It's the
Yeah.
principle.
Yeah,
Once you get a
exactly.
principle, you can see how it can apply in a lot of different situations, right or wrong, guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just, so at the same time, like, you know, they do like owe me, but then on the other hand, like some of this stuff that
But
people are out here talking about
that's a
is
different
different, right?
situation. So, for
Yeah.
example, that's realizing that your credit was swapped. Okay, it's a credit default swap. So you realize you were tricked into a certain position in that transaction.
Right.
Okay. That has
And I
nothing to do
created the government.
necessarily. It is related to the basis of the relationship between the people and the government agencies enforcing certain policies and statutes. It is related, but it's about that transaction specifically where
But
you
if we're
were
talking
tricked
about the
out of
count,
something.
that's you're
So
saying, but
that
if we're
that
talking about
me
the count, that you can't just assume you're going to be able to dip into something that you didn't, um, that you don't even, you know,
But you
even.
did, but when it comes to, let's say, the birth certificate, for example, people are trying to say you got a gazillion, trillion, squillion doll hairs, right?
Mhm.
Deep down, everybody knows that they didn't put shit in there. Isn't that true, guys?
Right. Right.
Doesn't deep down? Come on, we got 60, 70 people on here. Deep
I mean, I
down,
know I didn't send them any money.
don't you know
Yeah,
you didn't
then
put
put
shit
it.
in there? You know you
Yeah,
didn't put nothing in there. Yes?
Yeah, we know we didn't put nothing in it. Right.
That's what I'm saying. So then why people say with their whole chest that they're owed in that transaction?
Yeah,
It's a
because
whole different type of
it's a
transaction.
fraudulent action. So if you want to think you're going to dip into their fraudulent actions, you're going to get charged with fraud on the way on the when you do it.
That's what I've always said, Jake. And people take it as I'm hating. How do you want to enrich yourself off of fraud? Can somebody
Right.
explain?
Nope.
Well, I will throw something out. And that is that, you know, we live in a game, and basically we're in this big gambling casino. And
Yep.
that's really what they're doing, right? They're taking pieces of paper and they're basically trading them with each other. But who's going to buy a security that doesn't have something backing it, that doesn't have some source of value?
Okay.
And if you,
I
right?
love that. Continue.
And you know, when you look at the people, So, and I've thought about this. When you look at the people, we are the only ones that are doing anything, right? We've got hands and legs and we've got energy and we go to work
Yep.
and we create and we make things happen, right?
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes it valuable is our labor.
Exactly. But when you look
The
at
only
your birth
thing.
certificate, when you look at your birth certificate, and not to, create any, hoo-ha, but they weigh us and they measure us, weights and measures, right?
Commercial
Weights and
paper.
measures. So that is an initial value. So that says, okay, something here just came into the collective that is going to provide energy and is going to work and provide labor and they're going to do stuff, right?
Yep.
And that's how we're backing. We're actually backing those securities.
Determine our value and credit.
That is
Exactly.
the absolutely the foundation to the whole thing. But the thing that I don't get is where these people say that, well, even if you do this and this, like they're still trading that thing. It's like the only reason why something that is securitized is worth money is because somebody is making a payment. They are going along with the program. Like I don't understand how these people claim that these things are just making all this money. It's like what? How? What's? I don't get it.
Let me add to your wisdom.
Who buys it?
Please let me add to your wisdom, please.
Go ahead, please.
So when it comes to the whole mortgage-backed securitization pool, that is nowhere in the so-called closing of the situation. So what that to major in that minor is not the actual goal for that. The only reason one would probably bring up the mortgage-backed securitization pool that's happening is just to point out that it is not something that happened ab initio. One has no claim of a benefit in that. It can only be used as shown as when we look at the original so-called mortgage loan and note, those parties, i.e. some bank, i.e. some debt collecting attorneys, i.e. some servicer, none of those parties are documented in the original transaction. That would be your only thing you need to say about that.
Okay.
Now,
but let's talk about the foundation, though. Let's talk about the foundation of the presumption that they should even bring that stuff up. It goes back to, hold on, it goes back to what Melinda was saying, where we're being told or it's being suggested that upon birth, right, we back those things, but it's not upon birth that we back those things. It's not the birth certificate that necessarily says we back those things. It's the way that we perceive that relationship and act on that perception of that relationship, because what is being sold on the market is someone is promising to pay. That's what's being sold. Somebody has said, because remember, when we sit down at those tables and they ask about income, they're not asking necessarily about the past, even though sometimes they do say, let me see your past W-2s, etc. But we are basically promising to go labor to pay that alleged debt. Do you understand? Somebody promised that they're going to go labor is the thing that's being sold. But who told you to do that?
Correct. Then the reason that's done is because someone thought they could recycle your note by putting it in a mortgage-backed securitization situation via a special purpose vehicle, and then bring you back, allegedly, some loan that you've never received because it wasn't out of the coffers or the pockets of
who was the lender.
Right.
Lender.
Yes.
So that is the transaction. What happens after that? The servicer reached out to me and they're talking to me, and there's these mortgage security pools. That is majoring
In the
in
minors.
the minors. I
Well,
gotta admit,
that's
that's what I see now. That's what I see now. Okay, and all I'm saying is the reason that that's happening is because the original lender never made good on their end of the bargain.
And
right.
what
So
we're
the accounting law.
realizing is because they didn't actually exist.
Yeah, because the accounting is not. It's not. They like you said, they didn't take it out of their coffers. So it's just it's they create. It's like a
Right, but remember what's
fiction.
being said is that it doesn't matter where it came from. Somehow we made ourselves liable for it. So
Yeah, but it's also,
arguing about where it came from has to be how does the song say? Framed a
Correct.
different way about
Correct.
how somebody became entitled to enforce it.
Well, and like on the feed the fam, I think it hits at the principle that you know that we are the ones that even created this opportunity for these things to even happen. Like, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
but
Like
this is why it's important to see
we are
well,
the
hold on. This is why it's important to
We're
view it
not the creditors.
if it's from the position of benefactor when you say we or creditor when we say we, because the benefactor is what made it possible for the debtors and the creditors to play a game,
right.
not
well,
who is supposed to be in the game trying to claim a position. And that is what has the real trick is.
That is
well,
interesting because if we are the labor that creates it, then we kind of would be the creditor, right? I mean,
But we're not supposed to be. Remember, what does it
yeah,
say in
yeah.
15 USC 17?
We gave a gift and they're taking advantage of it, and we need to hold them
We gave
accountable.
our
The labor
forefathers
is not
our
an article of commerce nor
our
commodity. What is it a
forefathers
commodity?
gave the government a gift to play a game, and then somehow we got bored or something and was like, put me in the game. I want to
It's
be
a
one of the
gift.
players. And then we get down in the dirt with the dogs and get fleas, and then we get upset about that.
Is that the framing that is being missed by a lot of people? Is that this is the or I guess even just to get that to understand the principles of it better is that it's has to do with gift.
We're the benefactors of the game. We're in the bleachers eating popcorn, okay, drinking beer, okay,
If
soda
you
water with lime. And okay, so guys, at other sports games, whether it's hockey or baseball, basketball, whatever, don't sometimes the ball come into the crowd?
correct.
Yes
Mm-hmm.
or no? Sometimes the ball comes into the crowd, yes or no?
Yes.
And so when you are in the bleachers and you catch the ball that is supposed to be in the regulated game, does that put your ass in the game?
No,
Does that make you a player? How
no.
about if you manufactured a uniform and then you caught the ball? Can you run down from the bleachers and dive onto the field?
Has
If
to
you
be
like, if you
issued
like
to
to get
you
tackled
by
by
the
security, yeah, of
has
course.
to be issued to you by the team.
Okay, so many of us these make a trust in order to beat a traffic ticket people. They're
Mm-hmm.
telling you to pretend you are in the game, go and make a uniform so it looks like you're in the game. Man, hey, it's all fiat money in there. So since it's fiat money in the game, just make your own fiat. How about that? Just look over the shoulders of the people playing Monopoly, see the colors of the paper, tell yourself it's fake anyway. You're telling the truth, ain't you? It is fake, yes? It's fake. But
yes,
if you manufacture your own, can you demand for them to put you in the game?
no. And do you even want to be in the game?
But this is what's happening to us when we have
I
people that
know, I
gurus tell
know,
us they owe
I know.
you and you're creating the paper and that's your name on there and that's what makes them owe you. No, that they owe you. But for the
No.
trick of us pretending that we're in the game because we were in the bleachers and caught the ball and we were wearing the team colors, so we went and ran around in the field.
Well, when it comes back to it, and I completely agree with you, Malika. And I mean, when I look at, you know, what everybody's talking about with the birth certificate, it's like, okay, well, if that was fraudulent from the beginning, then why are you claiming something that you were never part of? You didn't create
Exactly.
it.
And how many times were
Not
you blocked for
yours.
asking that question, Melinda?
What's that?
How many times were you blocked for asking that question?
Well, you know, common sense doesn't reign anymore. I mean, it's like, you know, it's like when you think about, you know, this whole world works on consent. Well, when did you give consent to be that? Never.
And
I
so what
mean,
I'm taking away from
What we're
that,
right?
trying to figure
So
out is
can
how
I?
to apply this and actually still live in the world that takes money to go around.
Oh, can I
well, I
be like
think
OJ and take a
that's it
stab at it?
right there, though. It's the fact
That's a
that like
great place to start.
if they're talking about like it's about the money, like you said, the money is what makes the world go round. But when they have taken
What law says regular people in their private capacity need to use? Because we're saying money as if it's like this independent force just floating around out there. Do you know that the thing we call money and the system used to run it is a actual product of someone's?
product of our
Huh?
labor,
It's like just like how you can make a cup or a
yeah,
computer. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? A shirt?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Coca-Cola is somebody's product, right? Yes?
Hmm.
yes,
So what if we were trading in Coca-Cola? Would we be talking about it the same way? Well, you know, how do we live in a world where we need Coca-Cola to do transactions? What would we first think of if we realize that Coca-Cola has a monopoly in our transactions? What would be the first thing that logical, caring, thinking people, what would we first consider?
Making our own Coca-Cola.
Perhaps. Or maybe just not using Coca-Cola, right?
Exactly. Well, and you know what?
But
And
how
back
is
in
it? But
that
wait a
day,
minute.
right?
How is it when we talk about this thing called money? Because the actual literal dollar bill, do y'all realize that? All of them is manufactured by somebody. Y'all realize that, right? It's
right.
not an
Yeah,
independent,
but we're
like,
not allowed
you
to
know,
make our own.
esoteric thing that's just required for life. We talk about it like it is. And I'm not knocking whoever asked the question because it's a great question to consider because we even got to consider the mindset in which we're asking that question.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, you know, when we're trading, when we want something you have and you want something we have, you know,
Barter.
that really is really what it's all about. And
Or
money
not.
is
Or I
just
can
a
just take the shit I don't want and put it out at the street. I don't have to wait
that
till I want
that's
something
true.
from you.
That's true.
This is
That's
what we
true.
don't think about. We always think about well, what's in it for me? What you got? What you got? Give me what you got. Let me what's in your pockets. That's how we
Yeah.
all look at life. How about when I don't want something, I just push that shit outside the gate. I don't want this no more. I don't have to. I don't have to. I don't have to demand money. How about that? Because nobody wants to let go first. Everybody wants the oppressors to stop first. Nobody's like, you know what? I'm not even going to do this. This shit is stupid. There's no law. There is no law that anybody can show that says that if you are simply enjoying something, if you're simply enjoying it for your private enjoyment, you're just simply enjoying these grapes or these apples or this piece of chicken or whatever is your jam. If you're just enjoying this house, enjoying this car, that it requires payment. There is nobody can find this law that says that. It's we that keep perpetuating it.
Yes. Yes, you're right.
Can I
Well,
can
you
I
know
give you
what? I mean, you know what? When you're done with you're done with a house, you know,
You
you
could
should
just
just
leave it because guess what?
leave it, and
We
let somebody
already
else
do
come
that.
use it. And
We
well, I mean, that's
literally
what
already do it. Do y'all ever
I
see
know.
empty houses that say for sale in the front?
yeah,
They gone. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
right.
I mean, that's the
And
whole
like
basis of adverse possession, right? You know, an abandoned
yeah,
house
Correct.
that nobody's living in, right? Nobody's using it.
Sort of, because it's adverse possession, believe it or not, when you read it, guys, it's for abandoned Taco Bell buildings.
Uh-oh.
It's it's in a statute.
Wow.
Hello?
Everything's in the statute. I mean,
No,
everything's
because
there.
look up, there's something called lex non scripta. Lex non scripta. It doesn't make it not law because it ain't written. All statutes are written.
Okay.
Everything is not statute. Many things
no,
simply,
I mean,
listen, let me many things simply have a statutory version.
Right. Agreed.
So the
Lex
so the
non
nature
scripta.
so the nature of the transaction thing that we just discussed maybe about half an hour ago, right? How many people here actually remember the position they were playing when they had the note mortgage situation before closing thing happening? Do you know what position you were playing even at closing? What position were you playing? Say that again. It's an actual word.
Buyer, purchaser.
Okay.
I was playing dumbass. That's what I was playing. What's the real answer?
Well, because I know people want to defeat or win or beat the mortgage foreclosure situation, and we can't do it with superstition. Okay.
Oh,
We can't. So
what?
so one thing that you already know that the squad looked through once we reviewed it, right, is okay, let's say it is an actual something they can foreclose on. You're playing the position of promisor. You made a promise to pay. You did make a promise to pay.
But for a loan I have received, because that's what it says
And
on the paper we
there we
signed.
go.
It
For
says
a
for a loan I have received.
correct,
MFers, where's the loan?
correct. You
And we
did
allow
not
them to say
agree.
stupid stuff like, well, you got the house, don't you? Stop dodging the question, fool. Slap.
Correct. You
Where
did
the
not
loan at?
agree. You did not agree to pay back by being a slave, hamster on a wheel, treadmill, right? You didn't agree to do that for people who are slave owners. I mean, investors, slave, one of those words, and they're looking to get a profit off of the yoke being on your neck, and the
And they
only
change
yoke
the
that
conditions too. They
What they
manipulate
do is
how
they
much
just
the
don't
money's worth and all
disclose the
that.
conditions. They don't disclose them.
that's what I'm
They don't
saying.
change them. They just don't disclose all of
That's
them.
what I'm saying. You got to stop giving them an out. Just look,
Mhm.
call it what it is.
Yep.
They are not party to that particular constitution called your closing. They're not. They've never been. They never can be. However, they're so used to the people not comprehending the transaction that they've gotten comfortably confident with banking on your ignorance.
Yep.
So how does
Literally.
that work with like FHAs? Like
Anytime somebody's alleging that you owe a debt, it don't matter what kind of debt. It doesn't matter if it's FHA, VA, GNMA, credit card, cars, bikes, boats. It's it's all
If I,
governed under banks and banking, Title 12. It's all the same.
so, can I give you an example of my? So, I grew up. The house that I live in is the only house I've ever lived in my whole life. So, whenever I uh, was like early 20s, my mother got remarried and she moved out, and so I wanted to stay here. This is where I lived, you know. So, and the only way that I was able um, to purchase the house at the time was to um, get a loan through the USDA Rural Development, which is it's a Section 502 direct loan, not a guaranteed. They call it a direct loan, so it does not it's not like through a bank. It's actually just money that Congress has allocated, blah blah blah, and it's comes from the Treasury or whatever. So they so I get the house that way. But like you had asked earlier, what was our position, or back to the principle that we were talking about before, where um, they like created this whole system, to where you have to use money to get. Like I just wanted to live here because I was already
Right.
living
But
here.
you wanted
know?
to live there, and there were two routes, one that you were aware of and one you were not aware of. You were presented with the route that says you too have to participate as
Right.
a debtor in his debtor credit. But how about
Yes.
making a challenge to the mortgage being put on that transaction, like the validity of the transaction that put the mortgage on there in the first place?
Right. And that's where I was talking about like the um on the Feed the Fam, how it talks about how, that we didn't choose for these people to go and rob the land and the resources and all the stuff and
Mm-hmm.
then try to sell it back to us, and just the same thing with the system of the money. It's like
Correct.
I didn't choose to be born into this system, but I would have been homeless if I didn't. So
No, no. See, that's the fear factor coming in, because
Mm-hmm.
there are people right now that have to make the same challenge that you were unaware of that you could make. They're having to do it now. So it's not be homeless, like conform or be homeless. You can make a challenge to the fact that there's no legal requirement for you shown by the people who are making the assertion that you have to be homeless if you don't participate in the commercial system.
Mm.
Everybody's scared to challenge that these days and mess
or
up their credit report and uh, get kicked out of their house and everything else because they don't know what to do in those situations.
That's the
Well,
you owe me part coming back. Hey, I was tricked into being into this transaction, or you tricked someone else into getting into this transaction, and now you're trying to hold me under those same false presumptions when I want to live here.
Mm.
well, isn't that the same idea with property tax? Because doesn't property
Absolutely.
tax, it basically means that they would have to have some legitimate ownership, in the
No, not
land.
the legitimate ownership of the property itself, but legitimate ownership of the tax liability. We might have legitimate ownership of the property, aka we can live here because we're people and we need a place to live, and this is just as good as any other. So,
Right.
they just
but
own the
that
piece of
doesn't mean
So
I
paper.
we
owe
don't
the
have to pay
tax
for it.
liability. The tax liability is related to the property tax, is based on the presumption that you're using the property for business. But that's
Right.
somebody making an allegation that we have to make them prove, because it says right here the labor of a human being is not an article or commodity in commerce. So how are you going to get me to pay your commercial bill with my labor? Can you tell me what law allows you to do that?
Well, one thing that
Well, let's think about it for a second. Let's answer that question. Because when we get into these transactions, we're basically promising that somebody is going to labor and then take what they exchange for that labor and pay it as a so-called bill.
Right.
But what law says that what you exchange for your labor could suddenly be an article of commerce? What law says that?
Well, here's another thing that
And
I
their
came up
ownership
with
is
is
just of
the
that piece of
permitting
paper,
process. I
right?
mean, because really when you think about property tax, so this is what I've recently discovered, is that they're not claiming any claim to the land itself. They're claiming
Right.
claim to the buildings.
Or
Because
the piece of
only
paper
because
that
it's
says,
presumed to being used in commerce, with the
Right.
government was wholly and exclusively created to regulate. So
commerce.
it's still if you are using that property in business, then we have jurisdiction over it, because we do have jurisdiction to regulate commercial activity.
And in commerce, they don't
So how
own
do we
land;
get
they
from under
own
those
they own commercial
presumptions?
paper, right? So they're not actually owning the land and the object; they're owning the commercial paper that gives the
It's interest in
attachment.
the use of the building that they're claiming ownership in. Interest in use of the building that
Ooh,
happens to be on the land.
Yusufruct.
Right. Well, and then they have to establish what their claim is. And
That's
one
the
of the
thing.
things that I was looking at was so when I bought my house, I didn't get a mortgage. But I did get a HUD settlement statement, and I'm like, okay, I remember what you were talking about as far as like having, the federal, the feds having some kind of territorial jurisdiction. And I just got to thinking, is that why they give you a HUD settlement on something that should be a transaction, right?
That is a very good observation, and it is absolutely true. And it is the reason why in every judicial foreclosure, HUD is the undisclosed yet indispensable party.
My question is, in any of the ways you guys got your houses, got these loans or mortgages or not, can these other people after the fact that wasn't there when you was getting it, how you're getting it, do they have a right to enforce a claim? Do they have a right to do mortgage foreclosure? Yes or no?
You know what I think you need to do? I mean, and this is what I've been thinking about as far as the HUD settlement statement. I think you need to rescind that because,
nope. Things like rescinding and termination assumes what?
That they had a claim in the first place.
Correct. And that you had capacity to participate in the first place. It is wholly void. There's no need to terminate it. There's no need to rescind it. Both of those things, and I'm glad it's Newbie Tuesday, because this is why we do this. Those terminologies are based on something being legitimate.
Right.
And then having some type of after the fact breach. But what Hassan is saying, we are signing paperwork. Everybody go look. We're signing paperwork, whether we want to call it a retail installment agreement or any other type of promise to pay.
Uniform residential application.
That says, for a loan, I have received. And we primarily skip the step, the question of, did I get a loan? Because it appears that something happened since we got the keys. We don't exactly know what. And for the most part, we don't care, unfortunately, until we're in a position where we cannot pay. And then we start researching and realize, wait a minute, I wasn't supposed to be paying. If anything, I probably are supposed to be paid.
Malika, is what happened somebody
That's exactly what happens.
Made a negotiable instrument and somebody else was like, hey, let me see that. And then they went and pawned it and it was like, hey, look, man, here's a loan.
I don't think that a check cashing transaction can be converted into a loan.
Okay, gotcha.
So I that's why we're gonna challenge it. And you see, most of people didn't even catch that joke that Hassan made.
Hey, I've got
because we don't understand the nature. They're saying we gave the thing of value. They took that thing of value, cashed it, pawned it, etc., and then gave it back to us. That is a check cashing transaction, is it not?
Right.
That is not a. So why are we allowing them to call it a loan and we don't say what loan? And we let them say, "Oh, well, you got the house, didn't you? Well, you got the keys, didn't you? You know, you've been living in there for 2 years, 10 years, whatever." What does that have to do with the fact that you can't prove to me that you gave a loan, and that's what you are alleging?
Word.
So, like in my case, the government, they do everything. They're not like a lot of these banks where they skip over a lot of this stuff. They are, they do it all pretty well by the whole guidelines and everything.
I'm gonna call BS on that unprovable statement that you just said.
Okay.
Why would you assume that because it's the government, they do it like legit?
I remember that stupid people.
Well, just because they have guidelines, like they have like a whole manual on all the steps that have to be done, and they.
And have you read the manual and compared it to your paperwork to see if they actually crossed all the I's and dotted all the T's?
So far, yes, I have. Or I have not been able to find anything they haven't done. But one of the things that they did was they do this.
Have you ever heard of Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17?
What was that one?
Article 1.
Oh.
Gotta bring it up, Malika. So they got seeing is believing, or at least knowing. So you guys can make these connections in real time. You gotta let go of what you may think it is or the superstition of the issue. You need to know the nature of the transaction.
Yes, I agree.
I've been
Article
challenging all
1,
these
Section
nations of
8.
transactions, and it's like it's really hurting me right now. My
Aw.
credit report and everything else to it. I'm trying to find a way out of this hole.
You have to realize that you're not in it. That is what here at Lawful Living, I would like to convey to each and every one of you. The way out is to realize you are not in it. Why are you not in it? Because you don't qualify to be in it. The subject matter of the thing doesn't qualify to be in it. And the government don't qualify to do it with you, nor any of these corporations. So if you're not in it, you don't have to figure out how to get out of it. That's what the gurus are selling. They're selling how to get out. And I'm over here saying, hey, if you can hear my voice, you ain't in that shit. You're not in it. You're being tricked on trying to find a way out of something you ain't in. Okay? Now, what does it say right here?
Enumerated powers.
Okay, so if a power is not enumerated and it's not implied because it's related to an enumerated power, it does not exist. Does that make sense?
Yes. And where does that come from again? That is
Where does what come from?
that powers that are that is what is not enumerated or implied
It's in the
statement.
Constitution.
Okay.
That's Article 9. I mean, Bill of Rights 9.
Okay.
Yep, and 10.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Enumerated powers. This is who the rule makers. The rule makers, okay? This is the rule makers, what they have powers to do, okay? What they have power to make rules for. Okay? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go to clause 1 first. Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, impose and excise. They're collecting these taxes, okay? The imposts and excises to do what?
Pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States.
Okay, let's stop right there. So whatever is being taxed or charged duties, imposts, or excises is in order to pay the debt that provides for the common defense and the general welfare of the United States. Now, keep in mind, if that can be your house where you just live, or your car that simply takes you to and fro in the exercise of your dominion called locomotion, or the exercise of your dominion called right to property. Okay, so now we see this broken down: their taxing power, their spending power, what they're spending it on. Okay, the commerce. See, this is what the government, remember, he's thinking the government gave him a loan for something and that it's legit. And they didn't do anything wrong. But right here it says that they can regulate commerce, right? But not all commerce, right, guys?
With
not commerce between
nations.
me and you, like right now, right?
Wow.
Commerce with who? Commerce with who?
Foreign nations.
And
among the several states.
Ooh.
And with the Indian. Wow, ain't that something?
Okay. It's this, and there's gurus out here trying to sell us. It's even when you give your children a high five in the morning. That's commerce. That's what they're trying to tell us. When you make a bowl of oatmeal, they're trying to tell us that that's commerce, guys. But
Which Indian?
How could it be commerce when it says it's supposed to be what?
Foreign nations.
Which Indian? Is that an employee of the East India Company or the West India Company? I'm just asking for a friend in law.
Remember, they even get into the meaning of commerce. This is what the attorneys don't want to talk about. The gurus don't want to talk about that shit neither, because they want to say if you give your man or woman a kiss in the morning, that's commerce. They better get the hell out of my face.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Are they trying to play on the word intercourse, which means communication? Because the word intercourse absolutely.
Yeah, but that's colloquial. Colloquial, it means we can use intercourse, or statutorily we can use intercourse. And what we should not do is conflate the two.
Correct.
Okay. So let's go to clause 17, because this is the clause that talks about the property of the United States. Okay. To exercise exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over which the District of Columbia or any other territory by secession of the states and the acceptance of Congress becomes the seat of the government. And to exercise, okay, let's read this. Go ahead, Jake. And to do what?
To exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislator of the state in which the same shall be for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings.
Okay. So is your house in here?
No, it's not.
No, not.
Okay, so if a document related to your house that's allegedly created by the government says blah, 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 blah about that property, and it is not property that has been purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state for the erection of ports, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other obviously government buildings, yes? Obviously military buildings. Can you tell me how they did something proper related to shelter that a man or woman or family simply lives in?
I know it's been such an explosive topic. I mean, if you challenge it, well, I mean, like they don't.
I don't know because I'm meeting a bunch of scary ass motherfuckers that's not challenging a lot of nothing.
I've been challenging it big time.
But is it in this way or just in general?
No, it's in that way because, basically what I did was I looked at the powers and the duties, which come from the Constitution, right? That's where they derive their power. So this has to come into play. I have brought this up, right? And I'm dealing with a whole bunch of shenanigans.
It happens sometimes. It happens sometimes because we, the people, have unfortunately created the habit, right? That
you just gotta ask the right questions.
Those of us who are now paying attention have to clarify. It's like when we challenge the authority of the attorney and they recast our argument and answer it by saying, I have a license from the bar and it's in good standing. Bitch, that's not what the hell I'm objecting about. Okay? We have to clarify. We have to be specific, not general, so that our arguments are less likely to be recasted and easier to steer back in the right direction, because it's like, look at what it says right here in your own law. If some government agency, entity, supervisory position, or program is involved, the subject matter better be a place purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the alleged property is, including for being used as
government buildings.
Well, and they've tried to, take liberties, like say you have a mailbox in your yard. So I don't even have a mailbox in my yard. So I said, look, there's no federal anything here. In fact,
but again, you cannot be the one saying, since there's no mailbox, there's no federal thing here. You need to, we always have to be able to point to where it says it in their law. And draw a clear line to it.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. And you know what? And I'm guilty of it, but sometimes we just say too much. We get into this mode of trying to be defensive and we're throwing everything out there.
Instead of asking questions.
You have to be clear on what your adversary is saying so that any reply is poignant, is relative, is material, and not a mere opportunity to just blah, blah, blah some more. And then you get labeled as crazy because it's like, what is she even talking about? What is he saying? Why is he bringing this part up? It should be crystal clear why we're bringing this up As if we can explain, if we can articulate, well, the reason I'm bringing this up is because you're saying this is a government program. You're saying this is government rules, regulations, and policies, yes? And the legislature of the government is limited to property on places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the property is for the erect. So if we are, is that the type of property we're talking about right now? Because if that's not the type of property in question, I'm going to need y'all to explain how these government of the United States programs or rules or regulations or policies or whatever, how is it applicable? I'm open. I'm open
trading at right now. He would say, what statutory provision provides the the right for them to do it for some other reason besides this.
No, do you have any
so elegantly
documentary
says
evidence
sometimes.
on the record that the property in question is one that it can be subject to this proceeding? What documentary evidence do you have that the property in question is one subject to this proceeding that doesn't violate Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17? Can you show me your documentary evidence that says that this property in question has been purchased by consent of the legislature of the state for the erection of some government building? Can you show me that? Because if you can't, I don't know why you're trying to make this property subject to it. Because it doesn't matter if it says right here that they can talk to purple hippopotamuses. And look, this looks like a purple. Is it a purple hippo? Is it though? Does the who the legislature can make rules for include purple hippopotamuses? Because I don't know how we can come to the conclusion that they did everything right in this transaction when the subject of the transaction itself is not shown to be within their legislative power.
Some people don't like purple, so I guess that's why they're trying to get in the game.
So just because they can do it, don't mean that it was right or that they were allowed to.
Where's the presumption that they can do it coming from?
That part.
Right, like
because just because your child comes in the kitchen and drinks out all the orange juice, they did do it, right?
Right.
I mean, so obviously they could do it.
They can do that, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, yep. But were they supposed to?
Right. That doesn't mean they had permission.
Yes. Did they get permission?
Right.
Because if they didn't get permission, then it's abuse of process at best, abuse of power at worst.
Misapplication, maladministration.
Well, that's the abusive process.
Right.
Right? Abusive process, abusive office.
I think that is the gift that the team here at Lawful Living has. That at least that's the thing that really shines for me is the way that you guys form those those questions and those to frame them like you had mentioned earlier that Hassan, framing it in the way that you do, you guys, I mean, it's like cannonballs, man.
But even look at the court stuff. Everybody's like, oh, Malika's saying don't go to court. I'm not the one saying don't go to court. Do you guys see what it says right here? What does that say right there?
Hey, it says it. They telling you that.
What does it say right there?
It says to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces.
And then what does that say right here? Look, what does that say right there?
Care of armed forces.
What does that say right there again? Look.
Trial and punishment of servicemen.
So why can't I slap people in the face when they tell me they have a court hearing next week and they not in the military?
Yeah, and don't conflate naval forces with an umbilical cord kind of situation. Wrong naval.
Because they sent them a paper that said you must appear.
Yeah, are you supposed to be appearing for trial? Is that what they ask you to appear for?
Right.
Are they asking you to appear to be punished for not doing something or doing something?
Mm-hmm. Well, it even goes back to record, right? You're recording back to the.
Yes, because look what it says right here. Do you read this right here?
Trial and punishment of civilians and dependents.
Dependents of who?
Exactly.
Dependents on who? Is it on servicemen? is this is how I know civilians and
Incompetent minors.
servicemen are in the military of
Right.
the government.
Because it's under land and
Competent minors.
headquarters.
Correct. It's under the category of making rules for the government when they start talking about civilians.
So that civilians is defined by that context.
Correct. It is simply a non-grunt administrative member of the government.
Well, and I think a lot of people don't look at things in context, right? They take words out of context and they don't look at where they're originally like what is it that they originally were meant to, to
Yeah, because I
mean by
don't want to
this
know
word.
about what it says originally. I just want to make up what I want it to mean right now in 2025.
That's
Right.
what people are doing, Malika.
And then I want to
Well-
force the government agents to also agree with my hallucinations.
Well, it's no different than people, grabbing a statute that seems to match their situation and not realizing that the chapter that they're grabbing it from has nothing to do with their situation.
Exactly. That's why we went over today the titles of the United States Code that keeps saying over and over again, employees, contractors, agents of the government. Again, service members of the government. Every title. Employee benefits, federal employee benefits.
I know. And people want, you know what? But the other thing I've noticed is that when something is simple, because it is simple, when you go to the Constitution, it's black and white, it's simple. And, this is what they have to abide by. And people get, it's like they think it's too simple.
Yes. And we have said that before too. It's too simple. So and the trust thing sounds so sexy and complicated. And so that must be what is real and true and necessary. And I'm gonna forget all it is writing a notice to the court and not showing up. What?
And that's what the attorneys do.
Time for that. I
make it
prefer to
out
bite
like
my nails.
Well,
the
it's
attorneys
yeah,
they
but
act
it's
like
not.
it's like no big deal. They're like, oh, that's like, come on, that's just too easy. Like you can't, like that can't be the, your defense. It's like, no, that is what the whole entire point the principle I'm trying to convey here is that it is that simple, and they try to blow it off because they want to make it all complicated and make it apply to or try
Well,
to
I
assume.
gotta justify me paying for guru abuse.
Because
I gotta
haven't you guys
justify
all
it.
heard that?
Why are you judging me for, Malika?
I gotta make this 3K I spent for nothing used for something.
Makes sense.
Well, they basically want to play that game, right? I mean, if
No, we go through levels of grief too, guys.
I know,
when we have been sold a birth certificate authentication packet for $500, $1,000, $1,500, come on, be honest. We want that shit to work and be useful for something because we already paid for it. Yes or no?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you a secure party creditor?
That's
a fact.
So it goes past, do we want to use it? It goes past that. It's like, well, I gotta use it now because I got it. And I know,
but see what they forget, what everybody forgets in this whole, authentication process, which drives me absolutely bonkers. It's like, if you aren't tied to something because it had nothing to do with you, why are you claiming it? And now you're tying yourself to it. Now you know what I mean?
Somebody told me it's worth $1 squadrillion. It's an asset. It's an asset.
Party creditor.
I get to make a trust and put the asset in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these things have the reason.
Why don't you believe in trust?
It's not that I don't believe in them. But are you going to create one that's going to stop your car, house, child, mom or dad or grandma from getting stolen? No.
No, because
these things have a legitimate application.
They stole me right out my house,
used incorrectly.
Of course they did, because it don't have nothing to do with your house.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about like when they used to rob banks and and break open the safe, even if you have a safe with a combination, it can still be broken into. I mean, your stuff can still get stolen.
Yeah, they don't know Melinda used to work in the bank vault industry. For real, she did. She can tell you what they're doing is actually illegal from being on the inside of it.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's all illegal, and here's the thing: they know it. They know it. And they choose not. They choose to look the other way. Well, it's because you know what? If you've been tricking people, like, and you don't know it was a trick, you were just trained that that's the way it was done. And now you've got all these people that know how to do these tricks, but they don't know they're doing tricks. They just think that they're just doing their job. That's basically where it's at. Like, like most of the people in government, they have no idea that they're
no idea, right?
Violating rights and breaking. They don't know. They have no clue.
Well,
it requires them to be dumb.
The training has. I don't even necessarily think that they're dumb.
They're not.
I think it's intentional. Intentional. It's intentional programming.
Yes.
And what you got to understand is that these are some people that are far from ignorant. You have a lot of strong-minded people that work in these areas. But if you have been programmed and trained to believe something, then if a person comes with actual truth that has facts to back it up, if a person's conviction is still on the falsehood, there's almost nothing you can do to convince them.
And that's a lot of guru abuse that keeps people stuck on that, Edward. You're absolutely
right. And a perfect example of that is the phone call that Cindy made, where she called about the failure to appear, and it's like the girl she could not wrap her head around what Cindy was saying. She's like, she read the statute to her, read it over and over and over, and she's just like, yeah, but that's just how we do it.
Well, it's like when Nick the attorney came on Monday, guys, and said, that's just right here. He goes, well, that's just the section that section just says that the government can make rules for the land and naval forces and the military. And everybody else was hanging on, waiting for him to say the part that says that they could control any of the fuck body else.
Right. He was missing the first part.
Yeah, because he says, oh, that just says it could make rules for, and where does it say it could make rules for somebody else? Can you show us, Nick? Because this part, yes, it does say they can make rules for government. Where's the part that says anybody else? That they
He never answers in the affirmative if it pins him to tell the truth in the way where it agrees with how we're absolutely saying is.
Yeah, but see, isn't that a conundrum, Hassan? If you can clearly say this is the part that says the government, the legislature of the government can make rules for the government and the regulations of the military. If you can confess that it's actually enumerated, they actually spelt it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we said a few minutes ago, all the enumerated rights have with them, right, certain unenumerated consequential rights for them to do the ones that are enumerated. That's what 18 is for, necessary and proper. Okay? It says they can do all the other stuff that is necessary and proper for them carrying on the enumerated stuff. Okay? Can somebody logically explain how making rules for private people in their private time, in their private capacity, is related to the enforcement of this or any other enumerated power?
Especially when it doesn't specifically say so.
Hey, there's one thing I've been wanting to.
We're talking about implied now, because this is we are talking about the fact that they're enumerated powers, and then they're unenumerated powers if they're related to enforcing an enumerated power, right?
Right, correct.
So this enumerated power is you can make rules for the government and land and naval forces. So which unenumerated, what are you supporting? Which enumerated power are you using to support the fact that you can make rules for private people on their private time and their private capacity?
Where's that law not written?
It's not in there.
It's obviously not enumerated. It's obviously not, but where is it implied?
It's
where
not
is it implied in order to carry out one of the enumerated powers? Where is it implied? Because remember, it could be enumerated or it could be implied based on an enumerated power. What would be the purpose What would it be supporting? Which enumerated power would it be supporting to regulate private people on their private time and their private property?
And when you go to the preamble, there's it implies that that is not what we are trying to do, because we're trying to uh, we created this government for our benefit.
Exactly. It
For
would violate the preamble. It would violate
exactly.
the Fifth Amendment. It would violate
Yes,
the 14th Amendment. It would violate the Ninth and the 10th Amendment to
absolutely.
expand using the necessary and proper clause or any other clause.
When the main benefit is to protect
Yes,
life, liberty, and property
of the
you think
people.
we would have mentioned, yeah, of the people, you'd think we would have mentioned maybe something about it trying to control us.
Well, there's one thing that I've come to realize. So, Malika, there's something I wanted to get to you. There's actually a commission on unalienable rights that was put out by the State Department back in 2020 that talks about this. That's a really interesting document, and basically it kind of says, it talks about property, how government's not supposed to be in it. So it's got some good nuggets. But the other thing I wanted to bring up was, when I started to think about the word liberty, we think liberty means freedom, but does liberty actually mean freedom?
Not statutory liberty.
No, because when you think
Statutory
about,
liberty is when you just got let out. Like
exactly,
you're on break from
exactly, you're on break.
Your quarters, your what is it called? Your post. You're on break from your
Exactly.
post. That's liberty.
That's right. That's right. When you, that's right. When you're a naval man and you're getting liberty to get off the ship, right? But you're not free. You're just on break.
My man slave said it correctly. You're on leave. You're
right.
You are just on break. That's what
our
liberty
is.
Our
liberty is not.
That's why, again, guys, when I realized that, even what she just said with liberty, I stopped talking to a lot of people. I stopped listening to a lot of people, because if you show that you're just wantonly using words and terms when we're talking about law, I don't want to hear you.
Right.
I mean, you have to know the words. The words tell the story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The words tell I feel like most of these people that are teaching this different stuff, that they don't ever really, pound down to people to get them to realize that
the terminology.
Yeah. But then if you don't start with the terminology, end with the terminology, use the rules of how terminology is to be interpreted all along the way, then what are you saying?
Right, you're not saying anything.
We was using Webster's dictionary.
Well, sometimes that's okay.
That terminology is not the same.
But you can't even use that, because when you think about a contract, and I go back to consent, right? So in every contract, there is always a definition of terms for the contract, and those terms and their definitions only apply within that contract. And you can make up the definition of any, you can make up your own definition to the words in that contract.
And a lot of contracts do. There are a lot of contracts that say we means the company, corporation, so on and so forth. You means the borrower, the one making the
definition found in the whatever the definition that's found in the trading and pooling agreement or something like that.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes the definition of the terms will even be in the agreement.
Yeah. I mean, that's so important.
They'll say in the agreement that this transaction or agreement is governed by, and they insert a statute that will have the definitions.
42 USC 666.
And there's some of us, guys, I told y'all, we had Bobby, Bobby was here when I made the statement, which is, we asked a realtor if they ever read the contract that they put in front of people, and they said no.
And I'm a realtor. That's a factual statement.
Oh my God.
Never read it.
Oh, you read the signature.
Most people don't read their contract.
Yes, but most people don't know why that's disturbing. More than the fact that we don't read it, we don't know why that's a negative thing, why that's disturbing, why that's terrible, awful. why that should be illegal. Why would you be putting a contract in front of somebody that you haven't not read and comprehend yourself? And you're supposed to be who the man or woman that's signing the contract believes in and trusts, that you're not getting them involved in some type of nonsense transaction.
They'll sit it down in front of you and say, all it says is that you acknowledge this and that or whatever. Just sign here.
Well, that's what my manslave did with all of the leases that were in front of him in 3 different states.
And because we believe we got these documents from a reputable place, they have to be right.
Written by written by who?
Attorneys.
Attorneys.
The liar holes?
Well,
the same with the
To
statutes.
turn over property.
I think that because it's the government that that has the statutes of like that it has some sort of authority over you. It's like, but the government didn't create us. We created the government. So these rights that we have we were born with these rights. They're not given to us by government. And
again, it has to be qualified.
Right.
We were born with rights. They weren't given to us by the government. But what does it mean when you get a driver license?
That part.
That you are engaging in a regulated activity through a license.
But if I was born with the right to locomotion, what would be the point of getting a license? Can somebody explain?
Because Jacob said, I'll give you this bowl of porridge.
To engage in regulated activities.
And why would we want to do that?
Why would Why would
we might want to engage in the regulated activity? But that would
why?
Be a
why might we want to engage in regulated activity?
So we could play their game of
commerce. Money.
Because Jacob put his hand on our forehead and was like, "You want this porridge? If you want it, give me your birthright. Give me your birthright. I'll give you some porridge."
These are the questions that we have to answer for ourselves, and that we have to guide our children in answering, because we're repeating cycles.
Well,
I'll tell you something, Malika. The term eisegesis is really real.
Well,
oh, that was crack. That was crazy.
People have this.
I'm sorry.
People have this tendency, and that's why Malika said something before. Context is extremely important. If I am allowed to go into a setting, isolate a word from its contextual setting, give it whatever meaning that I want to give it, then what is the purpose
of it
having a context?
So that I can sleep with all the women in the congregation.
That's it. Wait a minute. Y'all giving up all the game. Stop it.
I love people's random wrong comments. It makes it funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, guys, we are over time. It's been a fun Newbie Tuesday. I think it's been one of our best ones. And I think it's because we're realizing that although some of us have been studying for years, we are in fact not graduated from being newbies, because we have a lot of nonsense assumptions that need to be dealt with before we're able to properly articulate our remedy.
That's true.
Malika, that's because that's the reason why they go after the women in the congregation, because it's passed on down to the children from one generation to the next.
Plus the women are hot asses. I don't care what nobody say.
Come on, Malika.
A pastor would have to drug me, and I don't know how he gonna get me alone to drug me. So the women who participate, they're not absolved. People talk about all types of stuff about everybody, but we're the ones making them. Take responsibility and choose better. Choose better mates. Okay. Choose better actions. Choose better reactions. Okay, to both ourselves, our family, and our friends. Anyway, guys, peace, y'all.
Peace and love. Please stop hurting my feelings about that guru gas. Thank you. Love y'all.
It's out of love. It's out of love.
Before